Hello everyone, and we're live. Yep. Today we have a surprise stream. I said I'm gonna take a break from streaming for 2 weeks. I lied. I'm sorry. But yeah, basically what happened was Tequila, since the usual host of a Friday night fight, seems to have some troubles with tech issues. So yeah, technical difficulties and all. And yeah, we'll just have to we were not supposed to not have a Friday night fight, and I was like, yeah, I've got some time. I might as well just step in and take over for the week. So here we are, having finally a Friday night fight. It's been a while since I last hosted an event like that, and that was when there was still a land battle tourney. So yeah, things have changed quite a bit. This is now a Conquest tourney. We are on unit caps, and it's supposed to be a casual event. So let's hope we don't see too much sweaty builds today. But yeah, basically a quick stream for today, casual, hopefully, before we go into the weekend and into our actual week-long break from stream. In this first battle, we have Sipa versus Pigman, and the winner of this match will be going up against me, and I'll probably get wrecked in the fight under one of these guys. But either ways, let's see what these players are gonna play. Now, there are no... yeah, there is picks and bans here because there are no fixed factions for each player. We didn't have to select a faction or a lord, unlike the Wednesday and Thursday events. We don't have to just select we don't have to be locked into a specific roster. And players will have to pick and ban between the 24, 26? I forgot how many factions are there in the game. But yeah, basically we're just waiting for the players to be done with their picks and bans, and then we can have a go at the first battle. Fight! Indeed, it's fight time. Friday night fights. Friday night. Fighting night. Yeah, it is a Friday night fight event that we have not been hosted for a long time. So yeah, it's glad to be back here actually. Yeah, let me just quickly turn stuff off, and we should be good to go. Yeah, okay, cool. Now we're just waiting for the two players. Seems like Sipa going for Skaven and Pigman might be going for something else. Take Skaven S tier faction, everyone. Don't forget about that part. Sipa is obviously having that major advantage in the fight, and yeah, let's see what happens. Oh, Skaven versus Vampire Coast. From what I remember, this used to be like Skaven favored. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, I think Skaven used to have a bit of a favor in this matchup. Just having those Jezzails and then mortar bombardments. But perhaps the Vampire Coast have something else to counter it. We shall see. It's been a while since I played this matchup. I haven't been playing the most often these days. Like I've been kind of slacking off in my games recently, trying out a new build, but that's about it. And actually, I won't be able to play because I won't be in front of my PC, but hopefully afterwards I can get some more time to play and get out a wild army build video or something like that. But otherwise, we are just gonna be taking it slow until the next DLC drops, which is supposed to be the end of this year. Maybe it'll get delayed, maybe it will not, but I do am excited about 5.2 coming though, because CA did release a bit of an article. I think it's one of the one of the major game designers, like the game design lead of CA, talking about the new implementation of different changes in 5.2, especially about like the dwarves getting a major new mechanic with their deep holds. So that would be quite interesting to see. Not that it affects me as a multiplayer player. Anyways, But it would be nice to see how the dwarves can dig deep with their faction holds from then on. Plus, it would be quite fun to check out the new balance of the new meta in the 5.2. But I don't know when 5.2 is dropping, so we might have to wait another month before 5.2 comes. But it is actually quite nice to see CA frequently dropping those communications with the players. So things are a lot more transparent between each update. And on top of that, they have much more frequent updates as well. We just had the 5.1.2 update dropped in. Or is it 5.1.3? I've kind of forgot. But anyways, just a frequent update. I think it's 5.1.3. So yeah, frequent updates, making sure the game is slowly being fixed. Which is nice. Every time they fix something instead and doesn't actually introduce a lot of new issues, which is great. There's still some old issues that are left to be resolved, but it's fine. Honestly, it's we can wait a bit. But yeah, let's see what these players are going to bring us in on this Skaven versus Vampire Coast battle, 2 artillery factions. But it's going to be interesting to see how they will perform. This is a for fun casual tournament, so hopefully players aren't too sweaty. And right here we do see some quite interesting meme builds. It's not like entirely meme. Maybe some of them are, maybe some units are entirely memes and whatnot. But yeah, it's probably not the most it's definitely not the most sweaty build at all. But yeah, we shall see what happens here. I can see some of the unit choices, and it's quite interesting. It's quite interesting for sure. Oh god. Okay, I'm just gonna shut up for now and just wait for these players to be done with their army selection. Alright, looks like they're taking... Keepa is taking a sweet time. Actually, no. Pigman is also switching his army builds a bit as well, so we'll see what happens, what we end up with. Still waiting for them to be done with the army picks. Interesting. I'm not sure why Pigman went for that build, but oh well, we'll see. Alright, looks like Sipa is done with his build, while Pigman is still picking. They're really... Pikmin is really taking his time to fine-tune his expenses. Although he does have a lot of Mimi units, so I don't blame him for trying to make the most out of his build. I haven't seen some of these units in a while, not gonna lie. Alright, the last bit of money spent, I think. We should be good to go, right? Unless Sipa is changing his army now. Alright, we're good to go, finally. Yep. We are done. Let's see. Finally, we can unblock the screen and finally talk about the builds. Pigman is going for a heavy meme build. 5 freaking sirens. Haven't seen them in a while. And then 4 pistol mobs, 2 scurvy dogs. And then in the skies, 1 Death Shriek Terror guys. Actually might be 2 because there's also... Shit. I don't really remember the name of Count Nautilus. Luthor Harkon, yeah. Luthor Harkon, that's the guy. Yeah. Luthor Harkon on his Death Shriek Terror guys. 2 Death Shriek Terror guys, so quite a bit of terror presence. And on the floor, we have a Vampire Fleet Captain with Lore of Vampire Magic. Drown Dead and Invocation of Nahak, and also Taunt for a little bit of a melee defense and armor debuff. On the other side of the battlefield, we have a very, very wide Skaven army, and quite Ashen themed as well. Just a bunch of chaff of Skaven slaves, really, but the rest of the money all went into some Ashen units. Gutter Runners, 5 of them, and then actually 10 Gutter Runners. 5 of them Slingers, 5 of them Gutter Runners. And then we have Ixchious Triads, and then leading the army Assassin and Deathmaster Snickage. I am worried about the Sirens already. That's a lot of skirmishing firepower, and I don't think there's enough units to keep pressuring these Gutter Runners and all that. Gutter Runners might... And then there's the rest of the army are basically Ashen themed as well. Vixtrin's Death Squads plus the Ixchious Triads. And yeah, that's a 10-whole unit of Gutter Runners. A lot of expensive skirmishers of Skavens. Spooky build versus Ashen Rats, and I think, not gonna lie, I think Ashen Rats might have this one, just because there's not a lot of ways for the spooky build to counteract this sheer volume of missiles. They can quickly break off enemy infantry without any issues, but oh wow, the Ninja Stars is doing a lot of damage to these pistol infantry from the side. The Ashen Souls are doing some nice damage at the very start, but perhaps it would have been a better call to shoot at the Sirens instead. But anyway, Sirens jumping into the front line, immediately pushing back the Skaven slaves. But what are they gonna push towards anyways? There's not a lot of options for them to keep pushing. They can drive off the Skaven slaves, but now they have to start dealing with the Gutter Runners, which I guess the pistol mobs can try to hold them back with their bodies. But right now, on the other side, we have a bit of an engagement here. Gunner pistol mobs are engaging the summon, right? I believe, no? No, these are the actual real Ixchious Triads, and they're taking a ton of damage in this fight. While Luthor Harkon and the Deathmaster Snickage are going one-on-one. Nope. Death Shriek Terror guys double teaming the Deathmaster, while Vixtrin's Death Squad are catching the Vampire Fleet Captain in the fight there. But the 2 Death Shriek Terror guys are absolutely smashing this poor assassin. At the same time, the Vampire Caster dropping in a Drowned Dead Summon, trying to stop the Vixtrin Death Squad from chasing them down. Scurvy Dogs jumping onto enemy skirmish infantry, but they're just getting beaten up in melee since the Gutter Runners, Slingers, and Gutter Runners have decent melee stats, especially when boosted by the strength in numbers. Yeah, this one over here. Adding that 8 melee defense. But the Sirens are pushing back those Skavens, though. They are trying to catch some of these Gutter Runner Slingers. They do have that... No, they don't have Frostbite, actually. That's for the Karn Rapes and stuff. But anyways, they're driving back the Gutter Runners. While Skavens... Yeah, Skavens have more control over the battlefield. The Vampire Coast might need to start figuring out how to capture the point, and then... just keep pushing those Gutter Runners away and force them to keep kiting until timer runs out for them. But right now, seems like the Vampire Coast are running low in forces. They're jumping into different fights with the Deathwreak Terrorgeist, trying to shut down those Skaven units, but the Gutter Runners do have pretty decent leadership. Ooh, they're silenced by Luther Harkon, but that doesn't really matter. They have pretty decent leadership overall, and they can handle themselves a bit better than Skaven Slaves. Anyways, it is a Terrorgeist is still a Terrorgeist. It's kind of hard to deal with, so yeah, they are still terrified and routed away. Vixter and Staff Squad are here cutting through some pistol mobs, while Sirens are charging into their rear, hoping to terrify them away, but they are just slicing and dicing those zombie chaff. But balance of power is in favor of the zombie pirates for now. Pigman might win if he gets this Lord Snipe. He might, but where's the Lord, actually? Oh, okay, yeah, Deathwreak Terrorgeist got rid of just kept chasing Snickitch and get rid of him from the map. So that means Skavens might have a leadership impact right now. Lord fled recently, which is not the worst thing in the world. Their leadership will slowly recover over time, but the Lord fled debuff recently is indeed putting a dent in their leadership and forcing a lot of units to rout earlier than they should. Luthhaken continues to hunt down characters for now. And in the late game, the Vampire Coast might just have to rely on... Oh, looks like the Vampire Fleet Captain is dead, so no more Drown That Summon, no more healing. Deathwreak Terrorgeist do have regeneration, so they can self-heal over time. Not that there's a lot of units left to heal anyway, so it's... I guess it's not the worst thing in the world, but they do run out of summons, so nothing to really occupy the points for them, which Skaven's noticing this weakness in the Coast Army. They are exploiting that fact, spamming those infantry over to the capture point and try to capture it now. And the Skavens would be hard to dislodge from their defensive position. Probably needed to kill, but a bit too many reds for SEs to clear out. Yeah, indeed. Even with the Terror, it's going to be a hard job for Luther Harkon and his Deathwreak Terrorgeist. Especially there's so much Slingers still around. Slingers have way more ammo than your usual regular Gutter Runners or regular Shuriken infantry. So they can just keep shooting at stuff like Sirens and the Deathwreak Terrorgeist. Sirens are running low on HP. And yeah, it might be a Skaven victory. We might have to just wait 5 minutes. Sorry, not 5 minutes, a bit more than that actually. 10 minutes for the timer to runs out before we hit army losses or anything, but yeah, once the Sirens die, they have to land. So yes, indeed. Right now, Luther Harkon is just trying to keep chasing off enemy units and bring the balance of power back, while also allow the Deathwreak Terrorgeist to regenerate some of their HP. Unfortunately, the land forces have been defeated. I was thinking depleted and defeated at the same time. So defeated, and the Deathwreak Terrorgeist will have to jump into melee combat. They have to use whatever they can to keep weakening those Skaven units, like the Breath Attack, but there are not a lot of blobs for them to use the Breath Attack on. And unlike High Elf Dragons, which is roughly the same price tier as the Deathwreak Terrorgeist, the Deathwreak Terrorgeist Breath Attack is absolutely horrendous against blob units. They just have less spread and less damage over in general, and they just don't do that much damage, unfortunately. And yeah, now the Deathwreak Terrorgeist is getting peppered with slings and shurikens, and he is just dying fast. He has 80 armor, and wait, Deathwreak Terrorgeist doesn't have Scaly Skin. Okay. I didn't realize that. So it's taking full damage from all those missiles minus the non-armor piercing damage. But yeah, the sheer volume of slinger missiles are just too much for the slingers to deal with. So that is going to be GG here as yeah, the Skavens managed to defeat the Vampire Coast. It's just Lufa Harkon getting peppered to death by all these slingshots. And that will be GG. It is a kite build. I would say this is a kite build indeed, but I wouldn't say it's like a... I wouldn't say Sipa go heavy on kiting, based on the fact that he actually just rushed in. So it's still a pretty interactive battle, I would say. But yeah, probably once the Sirens dies, they have to yeah. Alright, anyways, it seems like basically the slings and the skirmish fire carry the game. Sirens, despite the Terror being good against Skaven box, going up against so much missiles means that their lack of armor will spell doom for them. And yeah, Victor and Staff Squad didn't do that much damage, and neither did any units in melee, really. Sneaky just got chased off early, and yeah, Luva Harkon did some good damage alongside the Death Streak Terror guys, routing stuff off and hunting down the single characters, but yeah, overall, the rest of the army just got wiped out by the sheer amount of Skaven missiles blotting out the sun. Blotting out the sun? Yeah, that's probably the word. Yeah, that would be. We will be fighting Sipa then, in that case. Where's Sipa? Okay, actually, Sipa has his. Okay, we are fighting against Sipa on Tower of Hoeth, and I guess I'll pick first. Global ban first, actually. Alright, banning Kislev, just because I don't want to deal with Kislev. And Sipa bans Empire. Okay, I'll go Warriors of Chaos. Let's try Korn. And one more army, which... What do I want to play? Huh. I'll go Team Kings, whatever. And I don't want to play against... I don't want to play against Tinge, and so I'll ban Tinge. There we go. Done. Alright, let's wait then. Let's wait now. Oh, I need to sleep earlier these days. Been kind of addicted to War Tales recently. And I've been playing a lot of that. Oh shit, they're going Dark Elf spanning? Okay, I'll go the Warriors of Chaos then. Interesting, interesting. I hope I don't have to deal with Soul Stealer and Sipa can keep memeing, because I am just gonna try my build of some stuff. Yeah, I don't wanna deal with Soul Stealer with this build. Please don't. Should I bring this guy or should I? Maybe I should bring a Blue Fire Caster. I need to bring a Tinge Saucer anyway, so might as well, right? But yeah, yeah, Tinge Saucer, yeah, Tinge Saucer, Blue Fire, Treason. That's what I actually really need, and I'm just gonna turn that one off. Sort of change. We don't need that. Get a disc, and we go on to the skies, and then get a a very cheap character. Just get the most basic basic Doom and Darkness, and then I don't know. I feel like I might actually should just get this and then Spirit Leech stuff. Maybe. Alright, fine. Spirit Leech, Doom and Darkness. Oh right, no, not Spirit Leech. Shit. Fine. I'll just get that. Get a disc. Laura of Tinge, Blue Fire. Turn off Paragon of Change because I'm not gonna have any. I'm not gonna have anyone else to spam it on. And Spirit Leech. That'll do. A bit of a forbid. Do I want to bother with Forbidden Rod? That's magic reserves and all that, but fine, I'll just grab that. Hopefully he survives long enough, and then yeah. Anyways, yeah. Not sure how to deal with the enemy Koan Calf, which is gonna be a problem for me. Yeah, I don't have any good anti-Koan Calf tech for this disposal. Maybe something like that can help. Just get a bunch of throwing axes, maybe, and then, actually, that might not be too bad. Okay, and then 1, 2, 3, and again, throwing axes, and then we've got some money left. Might as well just turn them into poison hounds, then. All right, we're done. Fuck it. But hold on. Is there anything else we can do? Probably not. I mean, we can probably deal with the enemy infantry with our build here, but anything else, we're kind of fucked. Yeah, and let's spare some money for dealing with the enemy cavalry. I don't know what is good against enemy cavalry though. That's a problem. The question is, do you think Sipa will try to leadership bomb me? That might be the case here. I am not sure. Anyways, I don't want to go too missile heavy because yes. Yeah, the Dark Elves can be quite deadly with their AP missiles and all that. So Summoners of Rage, they're a little bit too expensive, so I'll just get a regular one, and then can we save some money on this side? Maybe, actually. And then let's hope the Summoners of Rage can, our cavalry can beat their cavalry. We don't have much cavalry per se, but the Dragon Ogres counts, right? Right? But yeah. What else can we do here? I haven't played this matchup for long. I don't know. I don't know really. Use your marks, man. Marks are expensive. I mean, marks doesn't necessarily are better. I guess I can use them, but I don't really need them per se. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't think I really need them anywhere. I don't think I need them actually. Yeah. But I do need something to deal with enemy cavalry, which I don't really have a lot of choices now that I am playing as this random build I came up with. Whatever. And then we can put some marks on these guys. We can put some marks on these halberd warriors. And then get another one, and then Can we still afford another throwing axis? Probably not, no. Yeah, we'll just do that, maybe. Yeah. Oh, and we don't have fear or terror to, Fine, in that case, we are just gonna grab some trolls and be done. Yeah. Oh, actually, we need some terror. We need some cheap terror. In that case, ooh, weird spawns do cost terror, so that actually might do. Wait, that works. And then we can just spam throwing axes on the side, and then maybe get a more expensive. Yeah, get another more expensive Savage Claw as a bit of a tank. Well, whatever. We're just kind of memeing with the build here. Horn throwing axes are way better than regular ones. Yeah, maybe, but they're also more expensive. They're better in the sense that they can... Did the guy forgot to put it on the... Oh, shit. Shit, I used the Conqest. Oh, yeah, cool, never mind. Oh, yeah. Oh, I used the land battle map list to generate the map, so... I don't know if all these maps are on the Conquest map. It might not be. That will be awkward. But yeah, anyways, so far I haven't received any complaints yet, so we'll just keep rolling with it until we get a complaint, and then we'll immediately pull out the next map or something. I just hope there's not a lot of AP fire on the other side, because that would make things a lot more awkward for me. Anyways, I wonder if you guys can... Oh, shit! Oh. I didn't bring the spell that actually matter. Made a mistake in my spell selection. No! I want to try out my build! I fucked up! Oh, well, whatever. Too late now. Too late to think about it. Yeah? We just have to roll with it. Yeah. Yeah, I bought the Tequila Sorcerer of Death for nothing. I guess I get a second caster in case I need extra single targeting damage, but I already have blue fire, so I'll... Anyways, let's just get the battle started. And now we're pulling back these guys, and Cheese Run Chariots, really? And what is this? Sorceress of Shadows with only Melkoffs. Okay. I can handle the infantry line without any issues. That's just fine for me, I suppose. Alright. Alright, Cheese Runner, keep firing at my stuff, please. Ooh. Okay, this is where the Coin Chariot would be nice. I forgot. Coin Chariot does have a nice Alright, these guys can run back. You guys go over here and try to fight them. Alright, cool. You guys can keep shooting at my stuff. I'm just gonna pull my stuff over here. Wow, that was a quick break. Wait, just keep throwing axes at stuff. Why are these guys running so fast? That makes no sense. Alright, whatever. Alright, these guys will have to keep pulling back. Oh, the dogs are dealt with. Okay. Wait, what's happening here? Okay, never mind. How did you guys get caught by... Koan Knights. Wait, these are these not? Oh, yeah, these are Koan Knights. How are my throwing axes getting caught there? They were even in skirmish mode. I mean, that's probably why I fucked it up. Skirmish mode is kind of shit, but still. Wait, why? How did you guys get caught? Was it because... Huh. I swear you guys were in skirmish mode or something. Okay, this guy is getting routed by a double assassin, which makes sense, but holy shit. My whole army is falling apart. Yeah, this is not great. Throwing axes are wearing down on the enemy cavalry, but they still need to keep running. But these ones are getting chased down, so GG. But these are Cult 1 chariots. Interesting. I didn't even get to use my interesting spells or anything. Wait, oh, that's a web of shadows. Interesting. That's a lot of damage for that as well. I would assume, oh, Malkovs as well. Ah, okay. Then Malkovs is probably why I constantly got caught in melee or something. Actually, yeah, it makes sense. Malkovs does slow down stuff, so that's probably why. Oh, I thought they are the cheese run chariots. They're Koan chariots. Which, that is why everything died so fast in melee. When I sent stuff into the Koan cavalry. Koan knights. And Koan chariots. Okay. Interesting. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. If these were just regular... Wait, why are you not casting? Why are you not casting? Okay. That is some horrible accuracy, if anything. Alright. Let's just try to get people routing over here. Okay, I played horribly in this game, not gonna lie. So can't really do much afterwards over here. And we'll have to just let the aspiring champions endure the enemy charges. We got the point. We're probably just gonna get shot to death though. Well, cops on the wit spawn. Okay, makes sense. But yeah, probably should have gone for throwing axes, Marauder Horsemen then. In this case, definitely it would have been a better choice, especially with the spell resistance mitigating the incoming Malkov's spells. Yeah. Definitely lesson learned. Bring throwing axes, bring corn throwing axes, not the regular ones. Shiggy was right. Yeah, we can maybe perhaps still hope to buy some time for the capture point. No, yeah, no, we got outplayed. Yeah. If I concentrate the throwing axes on one side and maybe get a corn one instead, maybe. Pain. These are Koan chariots too, which is quite interesting. I suppose I think the Koan chariots have better armor, which explains why my units didn't do shit against the Koan chariots. I need to check. GG to Sipa though for the win. And a very nice use of the Melkovs as well, slowing down my skirmishing cavalry, allowing the Koan Knights to catch up and just chase them down. Although I did kind of recklessly throw them into the melee combat and whatnot. So that was a quite a bit of mistake on my end as well. Let me just check the Koan chariots. Yeah, way more armor and I think it's the same melee stats. One chariots have less speed, but yeah, way more armor, slightly more weapon strength, and more HP as well. And I am gonna have to jump in on maybe a different battle and check out. Okay, Sipa versus Rider of Rohan, so I'm just gonna hop back. Okay, no, not here. We'll have to rejoin Sipa's lobby, but first of all, let us pull up the screen blocker. And then we can jump in. Spectate. Sipa is going up against Rider of Rohan. And let's see what factions they're gonna use. Rider of Rohan probably going back to the High Elves again. And Sipa might just keep playing Dark Elves, his favorite faction or something. Okay, cool. We wait for them to pick army builds now. At the same time, let us just go and download some games. Okay, I think we got everything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. And then there's a 7th game from... Yeah, there's some additional games from Rider of Rohan as well. We also probably have a game from Stalinate. Okay. My opponent did drop a couple of Web of Shadows on my characters, so that did a lot of damage to my army previously as well. So that was an interesting ability combo with the double K-Knight Assassin. I definitely should keep that in mind next time. But looks like it's gonna be a Wood Elf versus High Elf battle. Will the Wood Elves go melee rush, or are they gonna be kiting like true Wood Elves? We shall see. Personally, I love to go in melee rush in this matchup, since War Dancers turning on the missile resist ability, the Woven Mist, can actually help them weather the fire of the Loven Seaguy archers. Unlike the peasant archers, High Elf archers have less volume of fire and more expensive archers, so they can't do as much damage to your front line in a short burst of time. So the Woven Mist is still enough for them to survive the front line, survive to charge into the spears. But it might not be the case here. We shall see. We shall see what happens here. They might have some different ideas. This is a casual tournament after all, so players can go whatever they want. The stream has been going fine, Gojira. Haven't seen you in a while. But yeah, welcome back for now. I do look forward to maybe more tournament events from you. But I assume you've been busy lately. But yeah. But yeah, right now we are just gonna wait for the Wood Elves and High Elves to figure out what kind of builds they want to take. So far, it seems like Game 2 factions are dominating the whole scene for now. Everyone's just been playing with Game 1 or Game 2 factions. I did use some Game 3 units, but that's about it. But yeah, we shall see. We shall see. But yeah. Sipa is definitely memeing right now. He is definitely memeing. No, I can't say why he's definitely memeing, but I can confirm he is memeing hard. But yeah, that's about all I'm gonna say. That's basically it. But let me think about how Warriors of Chaos can counter Cohen Cavalry. I can't really think of anything other than just keep dropping Melkovs onto them. Like, they don't have a lot of... Chaos Factions doesn't have a lot of good, like, anti-armored cavalry options. I guess I can use the expensive Rot Knights and stuff like that, but they cost so much, man. They cost so much. Maybe dropping some Halberd Warriors might help. Just to hold a bit of a box formation. But I would probably just do throwing axes and just find something else to fight them in melee, buying time for the throwing axes to kill off enemy cavalry. But I need to pick up Warriors of Chaos again, because I have not been playing them much either. It's mostly Ogres, Norskin, Khorne, a little bit more Khorne recently, but I also have been slacking off my games. Yeah, I'm, as you can tell, my micro isn't exactly like top shape or anything, so that is a bit unfortunate. Oh shit, is that on the screen? Yeah, that's stuck on the screen. Oh no. I probably need to buy a screen cleaner. Oh no. Okay. Alright, cool. Let's see. Army builds. We have Wood Elves, Trees and Zotes. It is very thematic. A front line of Dryads, second line of Treekin, and a third line of Zotes. Led by 3 Dryads, Drycha plus the 2 Branch Wraiths. While on the other side we have a very elite martial army. Sword Masters in the center, double Phoenix Guard on the flank, and a third Phoenix Guard, Keepers of the Flame at the back. Led by Imric on foot. Boy, I haven't seen him on foot in a while. Supported by Noble and Lord Master of Wef. Basically going all in on melee, plus some Tyrannoc Chariots, which are also something we don't see for ages. Anyways, I do hope that Drycha has a very juicy Pit of Shade spell on her spell kit. If she doesn't, this is a massive missed opportunity. No, she does not have Pit of Shade, so the Sword Masters and the Keepers of the Flame are stacked on top of each other, fighting with the support of one another, just cutting through those Zotes and trees. While over here, Phoenix Guards are chopping through those Dryads in the front line, but they themselves are taking a ton of damage from the charge of Dryads and Zotes and Treekin and all that. Malevolent Dryad summon from Drycha, there's being dropped into the backs of the Sword Masters and Keepers of the Flame, but Sword Masters have been pulled back to deal with these summoned Dryads, while the Keepers of the Flame fight on, chopping down all those Zotes and trees. The second unit of Zotes are being dumped in, trying to hold this line here, while the Branch Wraith is being bullied in the fight. The other Phoenix Guard on the left flank is holding a little bit better than one on the right flank, partially because also Drycha isn't in the fight to help out. So yeah, they are doing a little bit better, but the Tyrannoc Chariots are rear charging constantly, providing that flanking charge, just doing some hammer and anvil. They are anti-infantry specifically, but of course, charge bonus is still charge bonus, and it's damage. Every little bit helps. While they also have a nice magic missile attack, which can slowly chip away the physically resistant Dryads and Treekin's health. Earthbloods have been dropped into the front line there from the Zolts. I think those are bound Earthbloods probably. Trying to keep those 3 units alive. But both sides are running thin on their HP, especially High Elves don't exactly have the biggest HP pool. Keepers of the Flame would be a prime target for all those Malkov's Mystifying Miasma. And they are taking quite a bit of damage from the spell. Turnout Chariots are Psycho Charging. Now they're slamming into the backs of these Zolts once again, while another bound Earthblood has been spammed onto the blob. Just try. Oh, this is actually the Lore Master actually. Healing those high elf units, but a lot of the healing went into the single entities, which isn't exactly what they need for healing right now. It is instead these Swordmasters, Phoenix Guards, these infantry support that are desperately in need of more HP as they're slowly being worn down in the melee fights. However, the single entities can still be very strong though, especially all 3 of these guys are fighters. Lordmaster, Noble, and Imrik himself just chopping down trees with their AP attacks as well. They don't really care about any armor, since basically the entire infantry core of this army are armor piercing. So they can do effective damage against trees regardless of their armor anyway. So yeah, Keepers of the Flame are still holding, while Zolt and more tree units are routing away. Some Zolts are jumping in, trying to pressure the Tyrannoc Chariots. But Tyrannoc Chariots does have 84 speed, while Zolts only have 64. So they can't really quite catch up to the just faster light chariots. While their tree brethren are being chopped down by the High Elves. The High Elf single entity core is still fighting strong, and the High Elves don't really have any good answer to this self-healing single entity blob. Really interesting choice from both sides. It is as if they are just trying to go for they're just exchanging that agreement, going for a gentleman's agreement, and then just go into the fight with pure melee focus. I guess the Tyrannoc Chariots has a bit of a skirmishing play here, but mostly just going in with melee components. And as a result, the High Elf's mobility plus their single entity managed to overcome, and all the AP units of an anti-large Phoenix Guard and anti-infantry Swordmaster. 126 kill, and not quite earning back their value unfortunately, but it's fine. They just need to buy time for the single characters. Oh damn, the Keepers of the Flame did so much damage. And also, yeah, buying time for the single entities to chop through enemy units and the Tyrannoc Chariots to Psycho Charge. And this will probably be a Wood Elf victory. The no elves Wood Elves build. Yeah. Only elves die here. Well, there's also trees, but they count as elves, right? Yeah. But yeah. Looks like the tree spirits are faltering and leaving only Drycha in the fight. One problem with Drycha, I feel like, is her ability. Her unique ability, the Fanatic Resolve. Oh, okay. Yeah, increases intensity as she takes damage, so people will just not fight her and avoid damage from our Drycha. So her ability just isn't useful at all until people start killing her in late game, but by late game you don't have any units to buff, only yourself, so it doesn't really help, I would say. But yeah, overall, very good damage from Drycha, but only Drycha from the Wood Elf side. Everything else just getting chopped to pieces. Zolt are, I wouldn't say they're the best like sustained melee fighter, especially not against infantry. They're quite fragile and their stats are pretty meh, and their strong suit is just versatile spell support, and also anti-large armor piercing damage, so good against cavalry. But fighting infantry, they kind of suck, not gonna lie. Anyways, for the High Elf army here, we got some pretty good damage from all the infantry, especially Keepers of the Flame. But yeah, that's about it. And mostly a little bit of Psycho Charging from the Tyrannoc Chariots, but that's about it. Anyways, this is the second. Yeah, this is a semi-finals fight. So the next fight should be. Oh. Hold on, what? Isn't? Oh, maybe I... Yeah, High Elves won, so yeah. Wait, no. Yeah, High Elves won, the Wood Elves lost. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, I was confused for a second. I don't know why, but I was confused for a second. Yeah, let me just jump back in. Wait, what? Oh no! Ryder left the lobby. Okay, that's not okay. Cool. On the other side of the tournament, we do have Ronin. Yeah, we do have yeah, okay. We do have Ronin and Salinated duking it out. We will receive their replays shortly. But right now, yeah, let's see if we should just cast some replays now. No, actually, I will have to organize the replays first. Let's just go back into the lobby with a Rider of Rohan and see what happens. Okay, cool. We go back in, spectate. We good. We good. Yeah. But yeah, we're back into here, and yeah, we'll just wait for I'll do some replay organizing, and then we'll go back to the lobby and just chill for. Oh shit! Selling needs to have a spec slot open. Cool. That works. Yep. Then we have live battles then. Nice. Perfect. All right, Wood Elves versus Khorne. Interesting. Haven't this? Ooh. Are they gonna try to be sweaty, or are they gonna try to be memey? We shall see. But I feel like I think, if I remember correctly, a pretty strong way to deal with Wood Elves as the Khorne army is just to spam 5 regular marauders, spam 5 or 4, basically spam max amount of Khorne warriors and just keep pushing. If you're expecting a missile build. But of course, Khorne versus Wood Elves probably are gonna box with their trees, so you need to account for that. So maybe Skull Cannon would be a good choice too. I'm not sure, but of course we are on a meme 20, so we might just see some meme builds. I am not 100% sure what both players will bring, but we shall see. I don't think the numbers on Dry Ship Passive were buffed for Game 3. Wound status wasn't a thing in Game 2. Yeah, Dry Shot just. I mean, even in Game 2, Dry Shot's ability was just underwhelming. To say the least. It's kind of it's, if I'm gonna be honest, it sucks. It's like Thorgrim's hiking ability that used to activate only when he reaches half health or less, below half health, because that makes it basically useless. Players can just ignore your lord, and then you never get to activate your ability until or your army dies, and then there's only like half HP on yourself. People just ignore you, eliminate your army. So even if your buff activates, even if it's a map-wide buff, it's not gonna matter. I think the ability got changed now, so it is now a high leadership activate thing, or was it? I think no, actually, it's a melee activation thing. So as long as you're in melee, it's effective. But yeah, before it just sucks. Anyways, let's turn off the screen blocker. On the left side, we have Valkia the Bloody from the Khorne army of Salinator versus, I think it's Salinator, right? And then Ronin, yeah, Ronin is on the other side playing as the Wood Elves. Anywho, we are waiting for them to load in, and I hope we don't deal with any internet difficulties today. Alrighty, for an army build here for Khorne, 4 units of marauders, and then a couple minotaurs with great axes, great weapons, some cavalry indeed. We have the heralds of Khorne's fury, having a little bit of weakness to fire damage synergy with themselves, and I think it's only themselves actually, and Valkia. But that's about it. And Chariots of Corn. Chariots of Corn, interesting. In the skies we have Valkia leading the army and some Furies, providing some aerial support to harass enemy skirmishers and just pressure missiles in general. Few dog units, so Chaos Warhounds, and then some Flesh Hounds, more Flesh Hounds. And that's it for the Corn Army build. Yeah, Valkia coming in with Demon Shield and Spear Slopnir. On the other side for the Wood Elves, double Glade Captain. With only their great stack mount and nothing else, no abilities, no items. Just them, their own anti-large bonus, magical missiles, and their AP stack cavalry. Excuse me. And then 3 units of skirmishers, the Blade Riders, Hackbane Tips, front line of Dryads, second line of War Dancers, Azrai Spears. These girls are very good at chopping down monsters and cavalry, so they will be very effective against the Minotaurs and perhaps the Chariots and Heralds of Corn's Fury as well. Otherwise, there are even more anti-large components. 1 Zolt unit for some additional healing, and Wild Hunters of Kronos with their newly added armor piercing and already existing anti-large bonus. Spellweaver of Hive Magic, a very versatile lord, providing some area control and direct damage ability with the Tempest, and healing with Apotheosis. Now Glade Riders, skirmishers are already pushing forward, trying to skirmish down some of these core units, and the double Glade Captains are poking at the Valkia from afar. And Valkia will need to maneuvering soon and start shooting shots, because these shots are actually tracking. So they can and will land. And they can and will turn mid-air just to hit you even if you start moving. So you need to do some pretty drastic juking to make sure you dodge those shots. Anyways, Corn Army is pushing while Wood Elves are retreating and kiting. Some of the Marauders of Corn are walking up, but receiving a counter charge from the Wild Hunters of Kronos, and because they're unbraced, they are taking an absolute beating in the process, taking quite a bit of damage overall. Now the Flesh Hounds are trying to follow up with a counter charge, but they are a little bit slow compared to the slightly slower but kind of ahead Wild Hunters of Kronos. But now they are actually cycling in for a counter charge, trying to nuke down those Flesh Hounds, with the Dryads coming in for melee support as well. Dryads clashing into those Marauder frontline otherwise, and are doing some pretty nice damage against each other. Both sides are using some pretty good damage dealer tools, so like each other are taking damage. But yeah, overall seems like Wood Elves are having a slightly better engagement here, as they managed to pull out the Wild Hunters of Kronos mostly unscathed, while the rest of the anti-large components, the War Dancers, are ready to jump in. However, the Corn Army did manage to catch some Blade Riders with their Furies, locking them down in melee. Some of them got caught in the middle of a fight against some Wild Hunters, and the Dryads got beat up, but otherwise the Wood Elf mobility are being intercepted by the Coronet aerial mobility, and that dealt a lot of damage to the Wild Hunters of Kronos. After all, Corn's Furies are very good at dealing damage with their frenzy, and the Wood Elves don't really exactly have the armor to protect themselves from those fights. Good news is that at least the War Dancers are doing exactly what they're supposed to do, slicing and dicing all those Minotaurs. However, on the other side, Zolt got caught out of position by a bunch of Flesh Hounds. No, these are Warhounds, and then followed up with the charge from the Heralds of Corn's Fury and the Minotaurs with great weapons, getting absolutely smacked in combat. Were they even able to use their spells? No, they were actually forgotten in the backline. A very important loss over here. And there goes the heal. There goes a major healing and damage resistance component for Ronin. They will really have to try to pull it back with a bunch of War Dancers cutting down enemy cavalry and monsters, but it's gonna be rough here because Marauders of Corn are flooding in, and they will trade great against the lightly armored ladies of the Wood Elves. The Azrai Spear might be good in an anti-large role, but They're not their anti-infantry sisters. They don't have that dual weapons to slice and dice the Marauders. Instead, they will take a ton of damage if they get charged by Marauders. And overall, these Glade Riders are all falling apart as the Furies are chasing them away. Minotaurs, one of them has taken enough damage to be routed, but the other is still quite fine. Oh no, Zotes are shattered? No, Zotes are returning to the fight here. And trying to go for a counter charge against Corn Minotaurs. They have received some healing for themselves, dropping in that Bound Earthblood earlier. Allowing them... Oh, actually dropping in Flash to Stone. That is nice. Mitigating that incoming damage from the Minotaurs. Warsaw War Dancers, Azrai Spears are flooding in to surround and swarm on these Hornet monster, but the Marauder infantry are coming in, and on the far side, the High Spellweaver has been caught in melee by a bunch of Heralds of Corn's Fury and Flash Hounds. That means their spell support will be soon eliminated without any help from their own units, while Valkia just kind of thriving and beating up one of the Glade Riders. Since she is anti-large and the Glade Riders is a large target right now, Glade Captain actually, yeah, with their Stagnite mount, so yeah. That is probably GG for the Wood Elves. Unfortunately, as much as I love Wood Elves, they do still suffer from some glaring weaknesses on their roster. One of them being very fragile in melee. And yeah, the Zotes are just getting beat up. Yeah, very unfortunate there. I wish there is a bit better performance from the Zotes, but well. Unfortunate there. It is quite hard to use Wood Elves in high level play. I personally would probably lose this as well, so I can't really say much. Like, I think the best way to play Wood Elves in this matchup is just to box up with trees, which Corn will have trouble breaking through, even with Minotaurs. But then again, we are in a for fun tourney, so we don't want to just box and stand on points. So, very interesting approach with the Zote Wild Riders and Azrai Spears, but unfortunately it doesn't quite seem to work here, as the rest of the units, rest of the army fall apart in the battle here, and I think army losses will soon to manifest. As the Wood Elves start losing more and more units. Like, Dryads can probably win against Marauders with their 60 armor and physical resistance, but with the other supporting components, Dryads don't really stand a chance here. The Minotaurs supporting the Corn infantry can easily roll through the Dryad infantry, and then they can start pressuring the backline. And Furies, if they get a charge on Wild Riders, they will absolutely annihilate the Wild Riders. Because Wild Riders are so fragile with their low armor and their reliance on physical resistance. Furies have magic attacks, so yeah. The physical resistance doesn't mean crap in that scenario. But yeah, I think that is the end, and then we will be moving on to the finals, and then afterwards we after the best of 3 we will be moving on to the replay section, I believe, which we have a lot of replays coming in today. We are eating good tonight. Let me just since we're basically on the cleanup phase, I'm just gonna quickly move those replays into my replay folder. Yeah, and then we should be good. But yeah, there are still some components rallying for Wood Elves. It is not exactly over yet. I think it's almost over, but I don't see how Wood Elves can come back from this. But perhaps they can still put up a fight with some skirmishing firepower, slowly chipping away the health of enemies' units, but overall it is rough indeed. Spear Swap Near just nuked the remaining Glade Riders, and they are also running for the hills. They can't really stand and fight against the Heralds of Corn's Fury, not even with the support of Glade Rider. Hello, David. Nice to see you here, and hope you're having a good. Hope your the last day of the week, last weekday for you of the week is treating you nicely. But yeah, we're just gonna wrap up this week with a bit of a tournament action. And yeah, once the Great Rider runs, they start everything starts shattering, and that's army losses between the two factions. And yeah, that is a victory for Khorne, since they managed to just rush through the enemy infantry, and there's little to stop them. Especially like having those Wild Riders being caught up by Furies. Ugh, that was some nasty damage from the Khorne mobility. I didn't really highlight the Chaos Chariots, but apparently they just keep running through, chasing down enemy infantry, and did quite a bit of kills. Not a lot of damage per se, but yeah, it's still pretty good stuff. Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, Wood Elves are just a little too fragile, and against Khorne, which is a very strong damage-dealing faction, War Dancers are not a great pick when you're expecting a ton of Marauders. And Khorne can do a lot of damage with their Furies, just eliminating Wild Rider as a cavalry overall. I might just bring 2 Zolts, a bunch of Treekin, and some Eternal Gods for the front line, and that's about it. With a bit of mobility, or just more spears to prevent rear charges. That's about it. But yeah, Glade Rider, double Glade Captain seems to be an interesting attack there. Doing quite a bit of damage overall, but since they do have anti-large bonus, and manage to cut through some of those Hounds and Minotaurs, but yeah, overall, unfortunately, nothing else to counteract the Heralds of Khorne's Fury, especially once the Zolts got caught by the enemy mobility. They're pretty much dead. Being swarmed by overwhelming numbers. And then yeah, that is it for this battle. That means Salinator will advance into the final battle, final round of this tournament, going up against Steeper on the other side of the... Oh wait, they're going against Rider of Rohan. I don't know why I was thinking Steeper. I probably just need to sleep earlier and get my brain reset. But yeah, Salinator advancing to fight Rider of Rohan in the best of 3, which, let me check. We do have Rider of Rohan here already, so I'm just going to set up the screen blocker and quickly top up my water bottle. I'll be back in a minute while the 2 players pick their factions. Yeah, I'll quickly be back in a minute. Alright, I'm back. Anything happening so far? Oh, looks like we have Nurgle and Dark Elves in the first battle between the two players. Wood Elves don't feel like a particularly strong faction unless they're playing against a faction that has a hard time handling kite. Not necessarily. They can be pretty decent with their melee as well, in my opinion. But yeah, obviously, Wood Elves, I wouldn't say Wood Elves is a good first pick faction. It is good against in certain specific scenario, but it is a very specialized faction. They're good at doing a few things instead of handling a wide range of scenarios. Unlike Empire and Warriors of Chaos, which they have a lot of diversified tools to deal with different threats, Wood Elves mostly relying on that fast, hard-hitting or kiting potential. Yeah, you wouldn't want to use them as a first pick. Anyways, we have Salinator on the left side, and on 0-4 right now. And then we have Rider of Rohan on the other side, also at 0 score. Anyways, we're chilling for now. They're alright right now. I won't touch them too much, just their unused units. Yeah, that's about right. That's about right. But yeah, it looks like we have Nurgle versus Dark Elves. Nurgle definitely have some strong tools against enemy armor-piercing cavalry, especially with their AP flyers, AP riders, AP, even ploggers, actually. As the goal is being a really strong unit these days, I can probably expect to see them, especially they're good against everything on the Dark Elf roster. Oh, looks like we already have the opponent ready. So we're just gonna jump straight in. Let's see what happens here. As we are gonna turn off the screen blocker. Hello, Anatoly. Let me just turn off the screen blocker so we can see what each player is bringing. On the left side, we have Salinator coming in with a Nurgle army with a couple of Nurglings. One of them, the Regiment of Renown, one that I think has a bit of a damage reflection, and then 3 Prestigals, 2 Axe and Shield Chaos Knights, 2 Throwing Axes, 3 Furies, and 2 Plague Toads. And then we wait for the armies to load in and finish off the rest of the army builds. Alright, cool. Throwing Axes. And then leading the army, we have Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Nurgle with their Crown of Everlasting Conquest. Very thematic for the game mode here. Fleshy Abundance for healing, Cloud of Flies for melee defense for himself. Other than that, yeah, that's about it for the army builds. A couple of Furies, yeah. Doing some, 3 Plague Toads, 2 Furies, doing a bit of mobility harassment. And a ton of... okay. Nurglings and Pestigals all have Vanguard deployment, so they're definitely being Vanguard deployed right now, trying to secure the capture point as soon as possible. While on the other side, we have the Dark Elves, front line of swords, Bleak Swords, second line of Dark Shards, third line of 1 more Bleak Sword, and a ton of cavalry. All of these guys are like Cohen Riders, Dark Riders, providing some mass and mobility, leading the army. Supreme Sorcerers of Fire. Supreme Sorcerers of Fire, ready to roast some Nurgle infantry then. No Soul Stealers though, so no healing for the Dark Elves whatsoever. And then we shall see what happens in this battle then. But yeah, we'll wait for the players to get ready and start the game. Looks like one of them is ready, the other is probably not far behind as well. we shall wait a bit. And yeah, battle starts. Nurgle straight up rushing forward, trying to just make sure to block off the enemy army away from the capture point. Oh no, it seems like they're just gonna hold the position while the rest of their army catches up to them. Now Nurglings and Pestigals are marching forward, poising into a melee charge. But oh god, those Frolickers Bubonic getting absolutely lit up by the Dark Shards. They're trying to get into melee and start using that healing and damage reflection. But it's going to be rough for them. Pestigals, though, do have that little bit of... Oh, never mind. They have a little bit of damage missile resistance, but I don't think that matters anymore. With 3 units of Dark Shards annihilating them, shooting them, pin cushioning them with their sheer amount of missiles. However, Plague Toads are squeezing through the gaps between the Bleak Swords, getting on top of some of these Dark Shards. Countercharge from the Dark Riders, though very nicely done by Rider of Rohan and there. Yeah, Rider of Rohan, right? Yeah, Rider of Rohan playing Darkness, yeah. Very nicely done by Rider of Rohan. And oh, there's also the Sisters of Singing Doom I missed out. And they're absolutely shredding through these Nurgle units in melee combat, although the Nurgle Knights are in, and with their heavy armor, they should be able to counteract the Sisters of Singing Doom very nicely with their lack of AP damage. And overall, it seems like the Nurgle mobility pressure is really on against the Dark Elves, and they're struggling to push back the Nurgle units. The sheer amount of units that Nurgle has, it seems to be quite lethal. Burning Hand did manage to push off some Pestigals and Marauder infantry, but there is still a lack of resources to keep protecting backline of the Dark Elves. Some of these Dark Riders and Cold One Riders are pushing into the front line. They're trying to contain those Plague Toads, and a bit of a Burning Head trying to roast some of these Marauder Horsemen. But unfortunately, very nice micro from Salinator with his Pestigals, just dodging that Burning Head. So the Burning Head was mostly wasted. Some of the Dark Shards are trying to flee away from the Furies, and the Cohen Knights are trying to protect them, but they're also being caught in a charge from the Chaos Knights and Furies, taking a lot of damage in the process. And the Chaos Sorcerer Lord is fighting just fine, having the Crown of Everlasting Conquest providing that heal. He can stay alive in a fight surprisingly long. Anyways, on the other side, the Chaos Knights of Nurgle, they are still holding, while the Cohen Knights are trying to pull out of the fight to contain the other Chaos Knights of Nurgle. Plague Toads continue to push on, catching some of these both Fiends, the Regiment of Renowned Dark Shards, out of position, and the Dark Shard firepower will be disrupted on the far side. Marauder Horses are still throwing their axes, and they aren't really needed anywhere. Actually, they are probably needed at the back here just to keep throwing axes into the Cohen Cavalry. But otherwise, the Nurgle army seems to be having a strong push right now, especially having heals available to them. The Pestigals, Tears of Nurgle, are doing some really nice speed reduction to some nearby Dark Elf units, slowing them down, preventing them from maneuvering around the battlefield while the rest of the Nurgle army pushes on. However, it seems like the Nurgle push is running out of steam. There's not a lot of healing coming in just yet, since Fleshy Abundance is indeed an expensive spell, and it seems that Salinator is going to be throwing the towel here as he realizes he is out of units to keep pushing into the Dark Elf backline. Very nicely done from Rider of Rohan there. Able to defend the Nurgle push with a counter charge from the Cohen Knights. I've seen this tactic quite a few times now, actually. Just having a line of swordsmen and then second line of Dark Shards. Since they do a lot of damage, your opponent must have to charge into the swords just to try and get to the back line. But whenever stuff tries to get to the back line, say some monsters or enemy mobility try to push through the front line and get there, Cohen Knights counter charge and they can stop enemy cavalry pretty effectively. GG Ronin. Yeah, that was a oh, there was about the previous match. Okay, cool. Never mind. But yeah, very nicely done from Rider Rohan there, defending his backline really well. Although I feel like the Dark Shots got compromised a lot, but because the Furies, the Plague Toads are all just focusing on trying to dive into the backline, the Cohen Knights are able to just put their focus on eliminating the distracted enemy mobility. And once again, Chaos seems to just lack good options to deal with enemy Koan Calf, as they don't really have that kind of specific anti-large armor-piercing units, except maybe Plogers, but Plogers are too slow to deal with enemy cavalry threat mostly. So yeah, Plague Toads are unable to win the day by pushing through enemy lines, since the Koan Knights very nicely counteracted them. Nurgle Knights are a very solid melee defense cavalry, but their offensive power is rather lacking. So they couldn't really quickly punch through enemy defenses and get to enemy back line. Okay, so we are done with the first battle of this best of 3. Seems like Rider of Rohan got the upper hand for now. And let's see if Salinator can pull this back in the next battle. Seems like we are still gonna see Rider of Rohan going with elves, which is kind of expected. He is very much an elf main. High elves, wood elves, dark elves, the 3 elves. But I guess since I guess since he already used dark elves, he has to use a different faction, and he's actually going for wood elves. And if we ever get into the 3rd battle, we might see high elves as well. But for now, Salinator going for Lizardmen, Rider of Rohan going for wood elves. Let's see what they're gonna bring to the battlefield. And yeah, we shall see. Okay, let me just quickly check something. Cool. Seems to be working fine. Okay, cool. Alright, anyways, looks like our players over here are done with their army picks. We are going into the fight. On the left side, we have Lizardmen going for an interesting build. 5 units of Javelin Skinks, 3 Colt ones for their armored mobility to counteract enemy Wild Riders, and then 4 units of Reproductile Riders. A lot of flying mobility with their melee power. 2 units of Bastillodon Solar Engine, and Mazdamundi leading the army. I don't know if he's on Slack or not. We'll have to wait and load in to see. And on the other side, we have the Wood Elves, Rider of Rohan, going for the Wood Elves with a lot of Wild Riders from what I remember on the loading screen. We shall wait to see once we actually load everything in and see what happens here. But anyways, Mazdamundi is not on Slack, just makes sense actually. On Slack gives enemy a very big targeting profile, but right now on just his mobility scooter, it's gonna be a 40% missile resistance, helping him resist quite a bit of that incoming missile fire. And then sure, the O1s can add another 20% of damage resistance, plus Apotheosis healing. Yeah, Apotheosis healing for himself and the 2 Bastillodons. That would be really nice in total. On the other side, for the Wood Elves, we have a front line of Dryads, second line of a couple Weight Watchers. That means a ton of AP damage potential. They can shoot up dinosaurs and flyers, though Reproductile Riders are... These Reproductiles do have a more finicky hitbox to land shots on, so... it's not gonna be the most efficient way to shoot stuff, but not that there are any better targets. Look, the best target probably Mazdamundi, then Bastillodon, then the Reproductile, so... Anyways, for the rest of the army here, a few Wild Rider units. One of them, the armor-piercing Wild Hunters of Kernus with their anti-large bonus. So they will shred through enemy units if they get the charge. But that is if they get a charge. If they got charged, they will just get shredded instead. Eternal Guards, 2 of them to hold the back line. And already right off the bat, the Bastillodons are opening fire, trying to light up the Weight Watchers. And the blinded debuff is actually really nice, reducing the accuracy of the Weight Watchers, but either ways, the Weight Watchers still seems to be landing consistent shots. I feel like accuracy is a very finicky thing, like, especially when you're aiming at such a large target, so it doesn't really matter too much, I don't think. Leading the army is actually Durfu. How did I miss that? Durfu leading the damn army. But yeah, a banishment really nicely placed there, nuking these poor Weight Watchers and some of the javelins chucking in those missiles, already doing substantial damage alongside the ruination of cities against the enemy Weight Watcher cavalry. Dryads otherwise eating most of those javelin shots. However, if the Dryads manage to get into melee against Skink Hordes, they have no issue beating them up. Wild Riders also running through the Skinks with the help of Master Mundi. However, the backline pressure is on as the Ripper Projectile Riders are diving in. So the Wild Riders will have to respond. Wild Hunters of Kernus and Wild Riders piling on to this fight here, trying to shut down those Wild Riders, while the rest of the Wood Elves are just constantly pushing, driving back enemy Javelin infantry, and perhaps they can try to push some of these Bastillodons as well. Flock of Doom draining their health away from these armored Feral Cold Ones, while the Eternal Gods and Wild Riders are still focusing on shutting down the enemy Ripper Projectiles. Balance of power is slightly in favor of Wood Elves, since they did manage to beat back the enemy infantry line and do a lot of damage to some of these Ripper Projectile Riders. And yeah, however, healing is only available to the Lizardmen since the Wood Elves didn't bring any healers for themselves. You'll have to rely on just keep doing damage and maybe a sort of Dave to nuke enemy units. But yeah, if Durfu can get into melee against the Bastillodon, he will have no issues beating them down. But if he gets into melee against one of the Bastillodon, the other can shoot him from the other angle. So this can still be anyone's game. However, it seems like the Skink Core has been faltering, while the Ripper Projectiles are having trouble eliminating the rest of the Wild Riders. So yeah, things are not looking great for the Lizardmen now. Seems like another Flock of Doom draining. It's a 3 for 1 actually. Ripper Projectile Riders, both of them, and the Colt one as well, doing some really nice damage. Now the Wild Riders are trying to surround and beat up one of the Bastillodon. But as I said, if something attack one Bastillodon, the other is free to just fire in and doing some really substantial damage to these Wild Riders, trying to pull back that balance of power. Durfu is still kind of stuck in over here, as Master Mundi strayed a little too close to a giant angry tree and a bunch of Weight Watcher fire from point blank. So yeah, Master Mundi is running for his life right now, and he doesn't really have the speed to do it actually. Anyways, he is trying to stand his ground as he is dropping a ruination of cities right in the middle of this blob, nuking a ton of Eternal Gods, trying desperately to stabilize the balance of power. But yeah, the Lizardmen are still taking way too much damage in the process. But Bastillodon though, good news for them is they rout off the Wild Riders, and now might be able to just fire into the blob. But one unit of Eternal God went from almost full health down to almost none. That is some substantial damage if I have to say anything about it. But anyways, Apotheosis on to the Ripper Projectile Riders, trying to keep them in the fight, while the Bastillodons will try to keep firing and eliminate some more of these Wood Elf units. However, Master Mundi once again getting caught by Durfu. He does not have the melee power to go up against the giant angry tree again. So yeah, just a lot of damage onto Master Mundi, and on top of that, he miscast a spell, trying to use a mass mobility lockdown with the Net of Emmental upgraded version, but he also damaged himself in the process. Plus, Wild Riders are nearby to keep chasing, pressuring this Lizardman Lord. So things are not great. Durfu even dropped a Apotheosis on the Bastillodon instead of himself, and he will be eliminated quickly in this devastating charge of the Wild Riders with the 80 charge bonus, and that shall be GG for the Lizardmen. And also that will be a 2-0 victory to Rider of Rohan. GG to all players here. I'm really glad we still get to do this Friday night fight. And I hope you all enjoy these multiplayer action. We had some really off meta games. Wood Elves going full melee into the High Elves going melee heavy as well. That was a fun game. And yeah, these are some really off-meta games for sure. You don't see these all the time, though. In the best of threes, players do get a little bit more serious and get some really strong builds. But overall, the Wild Hunters of Kernus did a lot of damage alongside some of these Wild Riders as well. But unfortunately, Weight Watchers didn't quite carry their own weight. And but yeah, overall, it's the Wild Riders winning out all the engagements for the Wood Elves. And also, Papa Durfu did a lot of damage. Plus, he is quite hard to kill, since there's not a lot of good units to kill Durfu in this build. So he accumulated a lot of damage value. Well, the Lizardman here still doing some pretty good damage overall. Lord Mazamundi getting a lot of... Those were some really precisely placed damage spells. The Banishment and Ruination of Cities did a lot of damage to the Way Watchers, and some of these would have infantry units as well. But unfortunately, the Ripper Ductile Riders couldn't earn back their own value. So, yeah. Unfortunately, they are not exactly the tankiest unit. So if they dive onto something and didn't kill them off, and then something else charged them, they just get killed off quite quickly, especially when it comes down to a devastating aggressive unit like the Wild Riders. So yeah, GG to both players here, and congrats to Rider of Rohan for the win. And yeah, we'll take a quick break. I need to do a toilet break, and then we'll be moving on to the replay section, where we'll check out the replays files sent in by all the players playing the games tonight. And I hope I didn't drop in any I hope I didn't have any duplicated replays. That would be awkward. Yeah, I think every replay is different here, which is Garbrann. Okay. Widow versus Garbrann, really? Interesting. Okay, let's see what happens here. Some of the players seem to be playing this like a faction war format, with one faction throughout the game. But anyways, I need to take a quick toilet break, and then I'll be back to cast the rest of the games. We have quite a few games today. I hope there's some Chaos Dwarfs. We do have some Chaos Dwarfs. Anyways, we'll be switching away from that, just to not spoil everyone. But either ways, be back in a few minutes, and then we will just finish the rest of the stream. Alright, and we're back. Right, let's just... We have quite a few battles to go through, so let's do them one by one. Total 7 battles, yep. Let's go. I think, yeah, that's the right number. We have the first battle, Rider Rohan once again going for his beloved High Elves, and going for a White Lion, Trace-themed army with a lot of lions. White Lions, War Lions, and Pure Main Company. On the other side, we have Norska from Angel. Now let's just go through the army builds on both battlefields, both sides, for the Army of Trace, pretty much. Also, I think that's the Trace... Is that the Trace, Trace banner? Anyways, doesn't matter. We have a front line of War Lions, one of them the Pure Main Company, plus 3 more Archer units. And then behind them, we have a few War Lions as well, providing some solid anti-infantry bonus. And leading the army Tackless with 2 nobles supporting him. Now on the other side of the battlefield, we have the Norskins going for a line of Marauders backed up by 1 Soul Crusher that is a War Mammoth with the special damage resistance ability and rage, and then a few units of Murder Horses with Ring Axes and 4 Skin Wolves in total. Leading the army, we have Wolfric the Wanderer plus Shaman Sorcerer with Plague of Rust and Searing Doom. Probably expecting some heavy armor units here, using that Plague of Rust to reduce stuff like, say, a Fireborn's armor, and then pile in with the non-armor piercing Skin Wolves and kill them once and for all. But yeah, this is going to be interesting here. Wolfric going in with a Lore of Boat and Fight or Die buff, so mostly there for being a melee fighter lord, plus a bit of a damage dealing power to the densely packed High Elves. And otherwise, Tackless going in with Bound, Fiery Convocation, Flock of Doom, and Regrowth. Some very solid spell choices there. Now with the High Elf Archers in position, they're raining down fire onto some of these Marauders, but more importantly, the Soul Crusher with only 80 armor, it is going to be quite vulnerable to a sheer volume of missile, especially with such a large hitbox. Marauder infantry are clashing into the White Lions, and they will definitely get beaten up in melee, especially with War Lions charging in, and with that anti-infantry bonus, a little bit of a boat going down, and the Archers doing minor damage as the Archers turn around to keep shooting, unfortunately dodging most of that Sea Fang damage. Searing Doom bombing some of the White Lions and War Lions as well, but mostly the damage has been done to the Marauders, and the High Elves are securing their front line. The Soul Crusher has been crushing some Archers at the back line there, but the most important stuff here, the War Lions, White Lions, are still holding just fine. Skin Wolves are trying to snipe out some of these Nobles, but the Nobles does anti-large damage, so they're doing some really good damage against the Skin Wolves plus the White Lion support. The Skin Wolves are not having a good time at all. Marauders here are getting sandwiched by 2 different Lion units, White Lions and War Lions, and they will soon be routed as well. Overall, things are not going great for the Norscan push, and a lot of their infantry units are just faltering instead. Some of the White Lions on the side, though, being hit by a bunch of Ring Axes, heavily targeted. They are not having a great time, and maybe perhaps these Marauder Horsemen with Ring Axes can just charge the Archers instead of just sitting there and eat shots from the Archers. Marauders, though, being charged by the War Lions, they might not actually hold for much longer. Skin Wolves are pulling back for a bit here, trying to just gang up on some slightly weakened enemy infantry, while Tackless is being pressured by Wolfric. Some Skin Wolves are piling in, trying to pin down the High Elf Lord, but the High Elf steed is quite swift indeed, and will be continuously pushing through the melee combat, pushing through the melee blob, and try to get to safety. Soul Crusher now going on to keep crushing some White Lions, since the Archers have been heavily harassed by enemy infantry, and they just didn't really have much time to keep shooting at the Soul Crusher. So Soul Crusher is still alive now, trampling some White Lions and maybe some of their own men as well in the process. Wolfric will keep sticking to Tackless, trying to eliminate that High Elf leadership, while the Searing Doom has been constantly bombarding enemy units. Searing Doom is actually a really nice spell against White Lion, so a pretty good cast overall as they're blobbing up in fights. Sea Fang nuking one of the remaining Archers, some very nice damage, but the problem is that the War Lions and White Lions are still quite healthy, especially with the 2 Nobles able to just keep sustaining themselves in melee combat. Now the Metal Shaman Sorcerer is in a bit of danger, so Wolfric is trying to come in and save the Metal Shaman Sorcerer, but he himself is exposed to the charge of 2 anti-large, anti-armor single entities. And Wolfric himself does not want to stay in this fight. He probably would have been better off just keep chasing off Tequila, but that lapse in Judgment allowed Tequila to return. Now everything is trying to pile on to Tequila and try to save him, which the Skinwolves will not be able to withstand this focus of enemy forces. Balance of power, it still looks fairly even, but with that's just only because Tequila is so low in HP. As Wolfric keeps getting caught by the double noble, he is gonna take more and more damage. Searing Doom on to some of these archer unit, doing some pretty nice damage. Skinwolves are regenerating while horsemen are trying to chase down the archers. Soul Crusher is still very healthy though, so that is gonna be a great boon for the High Elves in the late game. The question is, can it carry through 2 rather healthy nobles and Tequila, who still have plenty of healing left? Potion of Shiroi, Regroves, he can heal. I mean, his healing cap is closing in, but that's still like 1,500 HP roughly, so nothing to scoff at all. On the far side, War Lions have been broken up by the terror-causing Soul Crusher, but High Elves are forming a square in the middle of the map, trying to just guard this capture point with their own troops. But this makes them quite vulnerable to a bit of a Searing Doom. But yeah, Rite of Rohan, noticing that spell, managed to dodge most of that bombardment, taking minimal casualties, while Norska keeps chasing down some routed units. Oh shit, I forgot. Oh shit, I forgot to switch to the 700 ticket mod. Might have to switch off the game for a bit there to turn on the mod before casting the rest of battles. I hope this battle doesn't come down to the 700 capture ticket. Otherwise, we'll just have to rewatch the replay. Anyways, apologies for that, because it's been a while since I cast Conquest. So yeah, I forgot about the 700 ticket thing, and yeah, I don't think I ever used that mod on stream. I use it for casting battles, but not like on stream. But yeah, it seems like Norskin is mostly focusing. Oh, you forgot to turn on the 700 ticket. That's fine then. That's good. That's good. I'm glad this is not a big blunder. But yeah, anyways, Flock of Doom draining away the health of Marauder Horsemen, forcing them to back off, and forcing the rest of the Norskin army to finally take initiative to engage. However, with I think the Norskin still stand a really good chance here, with Soul Crusher being so very much healthy. The question is how to finish off the double nobles. Perhaps if they can snipe out Tequila, there's still a good chance. But on the far side, archers managed to shoot back the Marauder Horsemen, securing themselves with the help of a little bit of War Lions. Once again, Rite of Rohan noticing the Searing Doom, but unfortunately seems like a little bit of a mistake in micro, allowing the Searing Doom to hit most of the archer unit. A little bit of a Plague of Rust there, debuffing the armor of the Pure Main Company, really trying hard to finish off some of these elite High Elf infantry. Actually, that Plague of Rust might have been better off just dumped onto one of the nobles here, since they are being swarmed by anti-large Skinwolves that does non-armor piercing damage. And if there is a damage burst with the Plague of Rust, it would have been really key in maybe perhaps finishing off one of the nobles. But right at this moment here, they kind of failed in that attempt. And the Pure Main Company also is still standing. Where's Wolfric actually? Wait, is Wolfric dead or routed? Oh shit, I didn't even spot that. But yeah, Skinwolves are piling in, finish off one of the nobles, hopefully. While the Soul Crusher really needs to come over here and just smack one of the noble instead of just sticking to the White Lions. The problem really is the double noble right now holding up the balance of power, and like pretty much with the Soul Crusher and the Skinwolves, you can pretty much finish off the rest of the infantry units. The problem is the noble doing anti-large damage to something, say, like the Soul Crusher. Javelins are being chucked onto the noble here, trying to whittle down his HP, and now the Soul Crusher is turning around trying to deal with it. So damage is definitely being dealt to the noble here. But here comes a deadly regrowth for the Norskin. Deadly not for the High Elves since they're getting the heals, but for the Norskin. Now the noble is ready for round 2. Plague of Rust finally dropped onto one of the nobles here, but this might be a bit too late. White lands are in the mix, providing support to the noble, keeping him supported in this fight, and having more meat shields to block shots from the Skinwolves as well. Wolfric, unfortunately, is no longer around to provide that melee power, and the Scorcher, once again, being out of position, unable to support the fight against the noble. The Skinwolves are getting routed by the superior force of melee power. Both of them shatter, and that might just be army losses. Damn. Oh, the nobles killed Wolfric, yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense. I wasn't paying attention to Wolfric and he just died. Otherwise, I would probably... I have like a one build that I bring against High Elves in general, but yeah. Which is mostly... consists of like Familiars and stuff, but... yeah, this is definitely an interesting build here with the Mammoth. And the Mammoth didn't actually get shut down much. It's, I think it's the most lethal thing is just losing Wolfric, leading to a permanent loss of leadership, and units can't really hold as long in combat, and also you lost a very strong melee fighter. Skinwolves did great and all that, but their damage capacity must have to be more than what they did right now. They need to be significantly higher than their cost, simply because there's so much healing on this high elf build that their damage numbers would definitely be inflated from their actual impact. While on the other side, nobles did really well, sniping out Wolfric and doing damage to single entities and Skinwolves in general. White lands did okay, nothing too amazing, but nothing too horrible either. Archers earned back quite a bit of value, especially this one, earning double their cost. War lands also did great, so there's that. Let me just quickly check how Wolfric died, and then we'll jump into the next battle. Just curious and want to confirm. But yeah, give me a second here. We'll play it back in fast forward.
Steel yourselves, my kin. We must cut them down. For Lilith, for the Phoenix Throne, for Alt-One!
Alright, we have Wolfric over here trying to fight the good fight. Flock of Doom weakening the Norscan troops, routing some stuff, and then Wolfric noped out of there. Trying to... oh, Hunter of Champions on the Tequila, trying to snipe him out with help of some of these. How much armor does Tequila have? 50, so not much, so yeah, fine. Yeah, he definitely should have... Wolfric should have definitely have just kept chasing Tequila down. Allowing him to come back is unfortunately might have cost Norscan the game, giving... first of all, putting Wolfric into the harm's way of the double nobles, just allowing the two nobles to just snipe him out. And secondly, Tequila was able to regroup and keep dropping those regrowths. But then again, this is a very common mistake to make. I do that all the time as well. I was like, this unit has been routed and I want to save stuff in my main army, so I should just pull back the pursuer, the chasing unit, and then just use them to deal with the closer threat, instead of playing the long game, unfortunately. So yeah, and then just letting key units come back and screwing over me the rest of the game. Anyways, for the armies here, we have Race and Keter. Yeah, I only know this word from SCP, so I don't know if I can pronounce it right. Keter. Race is going with a Dark Elf, a very thematic build of the Beast Lord, Recarve. 5 units of Bleak Swords. Okay, 5 units Bleak Swords, 2 Hydras, a couple of Furies, yeah, a couple of Furies, and then some Dark Riders, the Sisters of Slaughter on the flank. Yeah, and Recarve is on his Manticore, not Dragon, just Manticore, providing the Beast Armor of Karan Kar, which, yeah, adds some armor and damage resistance and melee defense. Not bad, but nothing too crazy either. Everyone playing elves today. Indeed, we have a very elfish roster. Oh, 2 more Dark Riders over here. Already Vanguard deployed, ready to jump on the enemy Night Runners. Anyways, for the Skaven army builds of Keter, we have gutter runners, 4 of them in fact, a few units of wolf rats with poison, actually only 2, so a couple, not a few, and then a bunch of Kleinvolk and tail slashes, interesting, a little bit more of a fire damage clan rats with shields, with a bit more fire resistance and a little bit more melee stats as well. Otherwise we have the Dwarfing Menace, sorry for the sirens, and Skaven Slave Spears in the front line, and backed up by some Poison Wind Globes, 4 units of Red Ogres, and leading the army, a Kick Claw on his hamster wheel, coming with Razorb, Unlimited Power, Howling Warp Gale, and Flensing Ruin. That's it for the army builds, really. Right off the bat, the Night Runners are already shooting stuff at the Harpies, trying to whittle them down, while the Dark Riders are sandwiching one of the Gutter Runners, trying to eliminate them as fast as possible. But here comes the Brass Orb, doing great damage to this lob up units of Dark Elf mobility, and basically routing Dark Riders 2 for the cost of 1. Definitely a worthy trade for the Skavens here, because they are so close to the white line. Their units are just going straight to the white line off the map, and that is quite a significant loss for the Dark Elves. Anyways, the rest of the Dark Elves will be pushing forward and will be just speed running a bit there. A flame breath attack from the Hydra there, doing some really nice damage to the Poison Wind Globes. Not a lot of kills compared to HP damage, but it still weakened the Poison Wind Globe a lot. Maybe just trying to like whittle them down enough so that a charge from the Hydra can rout them off and shut them down before they start destroying the Dread Spears. Another breath attack. Is that like a yellow / greenish color? Interesting. Anyways, fancy. What? Oh yeah. What? Okay. Howling Warp Gale. They tried to use a Flensing Rune earlier, but I think they switched over to Howling Warp Gale, which cancel out the Flensing Rune. And now the Night Runners are moving up to keep chipping away the health of Red Carve. Wait, was that? Oh no, that was a Poison Wind Globe effect, maybe. Yeah, that was a Poison Wind Globe effect earlier. So no Flensing Rune just yet. Now Furies are not Furies. Harpies are diving onto these Poison Wind Globes, and while the Poison Wind Globes try to chuck stuff at the Hydra, which is not the greatest use of the missile anyways, and because the Poison Globes are tied in melee, Dread Spears are able to close in without taking too much damage. Sisters of Slaughter as well, they will definitely slaughter these Kleinvolk and Tail Slasher. Now the Harpies, the Crows of Cain, despite taking some damage in the process, they have successfully routed off the slightly weakened Poison Wind Globadiers, and they will try to escort off this devastating missile infantry. Hydra pushing in because of their terror, they easily rout off the remaining Skaven Slave infantry. Bleak Swords are also winning as well, so things are going quite well for Dark Elf push. Problem is the War Hydra is now kind of stuck. Yeah, anyways, problem is just these skirmishing forces are still quite healthy for the Skaven army, but Bleak Swords are pushing in, and Night Runners don't really do efficient damage against enemy chaff infantry anyway, so they'll be driven back, unfortunately, unable to really do the damage to the key targets of the Dark Elf army. Hydra are smashing some of these Red Ogres, while Sisters of Slaughter are now moving on to keep killing other units. They have good enough melee stats, they don't need specific anti-lock to kill off these lightly armored Red Ogres. They are just constantly pushing up, while over here, Flensing Ruin finally onto Recarve and the nearby Sorcerers of Death, doing some minor damage since it's not overcast version. And yeah, now the War Hydra is briefing into the Red Ogres, doing some pretty nice damage, but also friendly fire shattering their own Bleak Swords, but that's fine. Dark Elves are a cruel bunch, they don't really care about friendly fire. And yeah, Poison Wind Globadiers diving on to being dove by Recarve and his Manticore, so they are terrified away, so no more Poison Winds for now, while Spirit Leech from the Death Sorceress has been constantly whittling away the health of a Kick Claw, and also Unlimited Power draining his health The Kick Claw is getting lower and lower in terms of health, and the Skaven still have 2 very healthy Hydras to deal with that are constantly regenerating. I don't see how the Skaven can pull this one back simply because they lack the tools to deal with 2 self-healing monsters. Perhaps a Kick Claw can keep spamming Flensing Ruin, but against 2 regenerating single entities, I think that's very unlikely for the damage to be enough to get rid of 2 9,000 HP units. So yeah, another Flensing Ruin might be able to finish off Recarve, but unlike the Skaven, having a Lord dead for the Dark Elves isn't as devastating to their army as the Skavens. So yeah, Recarve, even if he dies, the 2 War Hydra being so healthy might actually still be fine for them to just win the game. But this is on Conquest, so Skaven's sheer number of infantry in general might just help them catch up, and might help them capture the point over here and help them win the game. But as of right now, I still forgot to get the I forgot to get the 700 ticket mod. Anyways, let's see if we actually need it or if we actually don't. We shall see here, as the War Hydra plus the Harpies are mass routing Skaven units in the front line. Unfortunately, some of these Dark Riders also got routed, but War Hydras are holding. Balance of Power is in favor of the Dark Elves, as they do have quite a few units left on the battlefield. A Kick Claw, though, once again using unlimited power, constantly just doing damage to himself. Stop using unlimited power. The miscast chance is too much of a risk for you to suffer. If your Kick Claw dies, the rest of the army is just gonna fall apart to the 2 self-healing Hydras. Don't stop using unlimited power. I know you need those Flensing Ruin, but you can also try to secure the points and just win it straight up. But yeah, I will. I know they can't hear me, and we're just watching replays, but still, I feel like it's risky. But oh, looks like the Hydras are running low on leadership, and if they rout, Skavens are not gonna let them return. Although unfortunately, a Kick Claw has suffered a bit of a miscast damage himself and has been routed. Both Hydras are routing, which might be huge actually, with Dark Elves having nothing to resecure them. Some Sisters of Slaughter are returning, trying to drive back some of these Night Runners and help the War Hydras to regroup. Oh no, the Red Ogres are not chasing off the War Hydra. This is gonna be a big mistake, especially so many Night Runners blobbing up around the capture point. That is like a prime target for the War Hydra breath attacks. Okay, yeah, we might not be needing the capture point in this one. If there's another breath attack coming in... Oh wait, no, they used up all their breath attacks. Yeah, never mind. But still, the terror against a blob of Skavens like this will still be very deadly. Especially the Skavens now no longer has a Lord. I mean, the Lord hasn't gone off the map just yet, I believe. Yeah, the Lord hasn't gone off the map just yet, but I don't know if he's gonna return. He might right before the map white line, but this is still gonna be quite finicky. War Hydra is stabilizing their leadership once they got the charge bonus active, and double War Hydras diving into the fight, and maybe the Crows of Cain will have to jump in here. Oh no, Poison Wind Gloves, what are you doing? They managed to rout the War Hydra, but also doing a lot of friendly fire in the process. Something needs to be done to the Poison Winds, I suppose, but not before they do more friendly fire damage to the nearby Skavens, I suppose. Just doing so much damage. Oh no. Keeter, what are you doing? Stop throwing Poison Winds into your own infantry. And there goes a mass rout on the Skaven units as it exits the map. Yeah, I think he's gone. He's gone. He has been routed off the map. So much friendly fire from the Poison Wind Globes, destroying their own rats. Oh, that is just pain. Although, honestly, there's not much the Skavens can do against the double Hydra. So, yes. Typical Skaven tactics, indeed. But yeah. Overall, Skavens did alright. I suppose Kick Claw did a lot of damage with the Flensing Ruin, and yeah, Poison Wind Globes did one of them did alright, the others not so much, and the Gutter Runners did so much damage. They definitely earned back their value and then some more in this game, and especially when they still have so much health left. But they're the regular ones, so they're not the slingers, so they don't have as much ammo, and they just ran out of ammo really fast, unfortunately. While on the other side, Sisters of Slaughter is slaughtering a lot of Skavens for sure. Recarve is a meme pick, but somehow, I mean, he died early, but somehow the rest of the army won the fight for him. Spirit Leech constantly onto a Kick Claw, just keep weakening him until he can no longer stay in the fight, while the War Hydra kind of carry the game by keeping the balance of power high with their regeneration, bringing back those lost damage, lost HP. You've sent one more replay and you sent it via DM, but put it on to FNF channel as of now. Okay. Oh, cool. I'm not sure if I already got your other replays. Let me just check. Yeah, Ronin sent in the game between you and Shogunik. Between you and him. So, I didn't have your replay versus Bahrain, so that was one game I missed, I think. So let me just quickly check. What else? Yeah, I don't think I have your game in the first round. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, and then that's 8 games. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I think we have everything for the replays now. Okay, now let's just check the replay between Shogunik and Bahrain then. It's in round 1, so might as well just do that before you move on to the more advanced rounds. Yeah, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 battles. 6 more battles. This time, this one, Shogunik's Skaven versus Dark Elves again. Seriously, what is up with you guys and Dark Elves and just elves in general? It's been like what, 5 games of Dark Elves already? This time is a different anti-Skaven build, also a different Skaven build. At least we're seeing all kinds of Skaven, Dark Elf lords, which is nice. On the Skaven side, we have, which is played by Shogunik, we have a front line of Skaven slaves in general, spears and regular variants scattered over the front line. And then Warlock Giselles, 2 of them, plus an Avalanche Mortar, Dwarfing Manas, and 2 Wolf Rats, 1 unit of Council, no, these are just regular Storm Vermin guarding the Kick Sap. Plus more Skaven slaves on, yeah, no, never mind. We've covered the Skaven slaves, Dwarfing Manas, Avalanche Mortar, Grey Seer of Plague with a set of spells, Warpstone Scroll, Vermin Tide for more bodies, and Dread 13 summons to nuke enemy units and just surround them with Storm Vermins. Especially good now after the Storm Vermins have been buffed. For the Dark Elves, going for a very thematic Crone army. The Crone herself, Crone Halibron, on a Manticore with his Gaze of Cain and yeah, just Gaze of Cain, Cursed Blades. Interesting. Wait, what? That's like a... Okay, that's like a Mortis engine effect against units that are losing melee combat. Anyways, let's not talk about Crone for too long. We have a front line of Witch Elves, and on the far side, a ton of mobility hiding behind the Ridge. So they're being covered by the terrain and not directly under fire from the Ikik Zap Zap. A couple of Dark Riders and 3 Dark Riders with crossbows, and that's mostly... Oh, there's a Charybdis over here. Providing that leadership debuff to surrounding units, really good against Skaven combined with their terror effect. More Dark Riders on the other side, just circling around doing an enveloping maneuver. Trying to encircle the Skaven formation. Ikik already firing at the Charybdis, doing some noticeable damage. We will fast forward a bit there. Avalanche Mortars absolutely nuking the Witch Elves. This, ladies and gentlemen, is why you don't want expensive infantry when you're fighting Skavens. Avalanche Mortars and Poison Wind Mortars on Poison Wind Globes will make short work of your expensive infantry, and you'll be paying a ton of money for them for nothing. One of the Witch Elves are almost dead, and the other also taking noticeable damage. Another unit of Climb Rats being summoned to the front line. Actually, it's summoned like right on top of the Witch Elves, kind of count as flanking them and just kind of pinning them around. And Witch Elves, one of them has already been routed. The Charybdis taking noticeable damage from the Ikik Zap Zap and Giselles. So it is having a rough time for sure. While the Dark Rider mobility are a bit late in launching their attacks, now going after the Wolf Rats, trying to break through the Skaven mobility protection. But overall, things are looking quite rough for the Dark Elves. Indeed, balance of power is already in favor of the Skavens. Avalanche Mortar is being caught by Crone Halibron in melee and taking some damage. But overall, it seems like Skaven have it under control. Wolf Rats and the Red Ogres are piling on to the intruding Dark Riders, making sure they suffer from daring to threaten their backline. More Dark Riders are flooding in, but Giselles have high enough armor that they can withstand those charges for a few seconds. Over here, Crone Halibron trying to snipe out enemy lords. Actually, no, still chugging on the Avalanche Mortars while Witch Elves are rolling in. Dwarfing Menace are in though, and Witch Elves are gonna take some damage over here as the Dwarfing Menace are rolling through them. Charybdis finally utilizing Terror and the leadership debuff, routing Red Ogres and maybe even some Skaven infantry. Yeah, the Warlock Giselles taking a route over there, but because the Storm Vermin is closely guarding these Ikig Zap Zap, they are not challenged in melee at all. And yeah, Crone Halibron relentlessly trying to chase down on the Grey Seer, but the Dwarfing Menace are closely behind, while the Witch Elves are being dragged into melee combat. Charybdis is running low in health. It is unlike the Hydra, does not it has no access to self heals, so all the damage on it is permanent, and especially when Ikig are just launching some devastating volleys onto Charybdis. Speaking of devastating volleys, this whole 3/4 of a unit of the Dark Riders have been straight up deleted by the Avalanche Mortars. These Dark Riders probably worth it for them just to jump into melee and drag those Avalanche Mortars into a fight and stop shooting. But alas, as things goes right now, the Avalanche Mortars are just nuking Dark Elves left, right, and center. Crone Halibron still too busy getting tied down in Red Ogres. Now, still once again going after the Grey Seer. If there's a Dread of 13 spell incoming, this would be a pretty decent chance. Just having the Grey Seer surrounded by Dark Riders and then drop a Dread of 13 nuke 2 units of Dark Riders. That would be neat. But either ways, Red Ogres are now trying to surround and beat down Crone Halibron, and the Skaven artillery are mostly intact. Wolf Rats jumping onto the Dark Riders at the back line there with the Storm Vermin flooding in to help as well, and the Dark Riders will be pushed back. Finally, Gaze of Cain has been activated, but I do believe that it's too little too late. That leadership and melee attack buff is not gonna turn the tide here, as the Dark Elves are mostly just fighting Skaven chaff and cheap Red Ogres. The real value of the Skaven army lies in the Red Ogre, Storm Vermin, and the Ikig Zap Zap, which finally the Sisters of Singing Doom are shutting down the Ikig Zap Zap, but this might be too little too late, as Crone Halibron is taking more and more damage in this fight, being surrounded by the Dwarfing Menace, which does armor-piercing damage, and Crone Halibron is taking a lot of damage in the process. Wolf Rat's also poisoning her, reducing her damage output, and that might just be GG here, as Dark Elves one unit routes after the other. Oh, I guess that's how were they firing at Crone Halibron? Yeah, that explains why Crone Halibron is so weak. She just got blasted by artillery point blank. Of course she's gonna die. But yeah, that shall be GG. Yeah, Dark Riders waited around too long and kept clumping up, unfortunately. But having good micro is hard. There are too many units to control. I drop my micro all the time, so it's hard to be in shape all the time unless you're one of the top players. Anyways, for the Dwarfing Menace here, and the Ikig Zap Zap did a lot of damage, killing both Crone Halibron and the Charybdis. Even the Sorcerers of Tyre is almost dead by the end of it. Wait, basically got killed off or something. Probably got shot up by the Warp Lightning Cannon as well, maybe. Anyways, Red Ogres did some really fine damage here, and the rest of the army not so much, but mostly especially the Storm Vermin, mostly just tasked with standing on top of the Ikig Zap Zap, making sure no skirmishers or regular melee cavalry can get to them. And yeah, they did a good job. Witch Elves unfortunately took too much damage from the Avalanche Mortars and just got slaughtered. Sisters of Singing Doom is almost still at full health, but alas, as things go, they just don't have enough stuff to uphold the balance of power and just been routed. Oh, Zap Zap was targeting caster for most part. Okay, that makes sense. Makes sense. I actually missed the burning head. Yeah, actually, where was the burning head? But yeah, that was a good call with just sniping out the Burning Head, because otherwise it would be really devastating to the mass infantry in the late game of Skaven. Let me just quickly fast forward and see how the sorceress died. We first targeted the I guess I was first targeted the Charybdis, but yeah, still targeting Charybdis. Is it the Jezzail shooting? Is it Jezzail shooting the caster? Okay, Burning Head in the front line there, roasting some infantry. But allowing some of the Witch Elves to push in, but I think, where did the Witch Elves go? Oh, they went to fight stuff in LA. And then the KSS just switch over to target the Sorceress of Fire. Yeah, that was a good call. Just making sure no more Burning Heads to roast down your Skaven front line, which are very fragile in terms of leadership. Oh, these Witch Elves got left alone and wasn't engaged in combat and just got rolled through by a bunch of Dwarfing Menace. That was painful. That was a painful loss. Like, they could have probably pushed in to kill off, to go and challenge the Storm Vermin or something. Unfortunately, or just shut down the Avalanche Warriors. But alas, as things is, they were not able to maximize their potential. Alright, next battle. Finally, something without the elves. But we do have Norskin and Warriors of Chaos, which we both showed before. For the Warriors of Chaos front line of regular Marauders, couple Hellstriders, and then 2 Core Knights with Lances. Interesting. They do have Frenzy, so they will be a bit better in doing damage in melee. What else do we have here? 4 units of Mordor Horse Masters, and leading the army Archaon, the Ever-Chosen. On the other side, for the Norskins, a ton of skirmish cav as well. 2 Horse Masters, 3 Horse Masters, and 2 regular horsemen. And yeah, I guess he ran out of money, but a front line of Marauders with great weapons and a couple Marauders with spears and a few units of Skin Wolves. One of them the armored version, all of them the armored version actually. One of them the Mauls of Savagery with their Frenzy, giving them additional... what else? What else they give them? Oh, they have Armor Piercing. I didn't even realize they have Armor Piercing now. Okay, never mind. They have Armor Piercing, so will be extra good against Armored Cavalry like the Chaos Knight. And leading the army Wolfric and the Shaman Sorcerer of Metal with Plague of Rust and Searing Doom. Alright, let's just play this out as the skirmishing battle begins. Horsemasters shooting at Horsemasters, Horsemen shooting at Horsemasters as well. And but there are more Marauder infantry in the vicinity to screen off those Norskin mobility, so Norskins will have to pull back, and they're not pushing up the Marauders infantry as well, so that might have been a bit of a mistake. But I guess Norskin might want to just spend more time skirmishing, but I don't know. The Norskin mobility are closing in, just trying to keep whittling down some of these Horsemasters. A one-on-one trade between Horsemasters and Horsemen, of course, is going to be more beneficial to the Horsemen since they are cheaper. But right now, with the infantry in support, the Horsemen and Horsemasters of Norsca are forced to pull away. And, oh, Archaon going for a gutsy charge, but there comes a lockdown from Hunter of Champions, pinning him down in the fight against Wolfric. This is going to be a good time for a Plague of Rust, perhaps, because Wolfric doesn't have that AP on horseback, so you need that armor debuff to allow him his damage to go through. But Searing Doom for Archaon, trying to clear out some of these surrounding troops of the Norscan army and save Archaon. Yeah, doing some really effective damage to the Murder Horsemen. Wolfric now taking damage from Archaon as Archaon activated Slayer of Kings, but there's no melee attack buffs. Manipulation to help him land hits more consistently. Now most of Savagery going back in to surround Archaon. Wolfric backs off while the Hellstriders continues to pressure enemies. Skirmishing Cavalry just keep killing them, while the Chaos Skirmishing Cavalry, oh shit, the Chaos Knights of Khorne took a lot of damage from the Skin Wolves. I assume that's where the Plague of Rust went. as they debuff the Chaos Knights, allowing the Skin Wolves to do more damage. Searing Doom once again onto the Norskin Skirmishing Cavalry, doing some really nice damage, while over here Hellstriders cleaning up some poor Ice Wolves. And Chaos Knights of Khorne are rushing in to support as well. Both of the Skin Wolves have been routed already, leaving only the most of Savagery in the fight. But Archaon simply just have to avoid them and not engage in the fight, and he should be good. As the Warriors of Chaos are obtaining that skirmishing advantage, their skirmishers are mostly intact, while the Norskin ones are being routed in one melee engagement after the other. So yeah, Norskin lost their skirmishing mobility, and that means Warriors of Chaos will have full control with over the battlefield. Norskin Warriors of Chaos is doing a better job with infantry screening for sure, as the infantry has been kept closely behind the Horsemasters of Chaos, allowing the infantry to quickly rush in and support the Horsemasters if the Horsemasters run into any trouble and needs to pull back. So very nicely done by Phoenix King here. And yeah, the Horsemasters of the Warriors of Chaos will be fighting together, shooting up nearby tattered units of Norskins, and the Skin Wolves will be chased off by the Hellstriders and Chaos Knights. There are still some Norskin units securing the capture point, but with the Forsaken ready to just beat down these Marauders with great weapons, they're not going to have a good time under the threat of a frenzied unit. On the far side there, Skin Wolves and Ice Wolves are double teaming the Hellstriders and hoping to win out in this fight, but of course, both sides having anti-large bonus, the Skin Wolves are not having a good time either, although they do have a bit more armor to hold in battle. Oh no! Wolfric is trying to go in for a double armor debuff, Plague of Rust and the Hunter of Champions, dropping Archaon's armor, but he just ate a big hit from the Slayer of Kings, and also Spirit Leech as well, whittling down his health. So he is in no shape to challenge Archaon anymore. Most of Savagery are now fighting Archaon, but Archaon is holding just fine, beating up the most of Savagery actually. And Searing Doom trying to aim at the Murder Horsemasters, but they're just a bit too fast and they are easily dodging that spell bombardment. Archaon is getting low, but same goes for the most of Savagery. Their 70 armor is not enough to deal with the missile strength of the Murder Horsemasters, and that shall be it for the Norskins as they throw in the tower. Warriors of Chaos wins this game and getting into the next stage. But yeah, very nicely done with the infantry synergizing with the mobility here. Norskins unfortunately just keeping those infantry screen a little too far behind, unable to support their mobility in time, while Warriors of Chaos basically moving up in sync between the two departments, the infantry department and the cavalry department, and just kept them alive. That was able to keep the horse masters alive, just constantly pulling back behind infantry support when things get dicey. Actually, I'm just gonna quickly drop in on, because we looked at one flank of the Chaos Knight, right? We didn't look at the other flank, so we just need to quickly check that one as well. But yeah, the Marauder Horsemaster is constantly, oh yeah, they are behind the infantry, so like whatever happens they can just quickly pull back, and the infantry pushes up and forcing the Norskin Horsemasters to pull back. So definitely a better job of screening, while the Horsemasters and Horsemen of Norskins are kind of stuck, constantly getting stuck in nearby enemy infantry. Oh, Khorne Knights over here got the charge onto Skin Wolves, and their 80 charge bonus, 88 charge bonus combined with Frenzy, managed to annihilate these poor Skin Wolves on the charge. Yeah, yikes, that is a lot of damage. Just basically shut them down in a few seconds. Over here, yeah, the Plague of Rust and the Searing Doom are enough to turn the tide for the Skin Wolves here, allowing them to beat down the Chaos Knights instead, despite them taking out quite a bit of damage. But over here, it's just the Chaos Knights annihilating the poor Skin Wolves there. Yep, GG to both players for that game. especially with very nicely done infantry screening with Phoenix King's infantry. Alright, next up we have Wood Elves versus High Elves once again. It's the same kind of battle, but this time Rite of Rohan Wood Elves versus High Elves with a bit of more War Dancer heavy with the Lost Sylvan Knights, 2 Wild Riders, one of them the Wild Hunters of Kurnos, Branch Wraith, Orion himself, 2 War Dancers regular ones, and 1 War Dancers with Azrai Spears. Well, for the High Elf staunch line of spears, 4 units of Shadow Warriors and a few units of Mobility Dragon Princes, Elarian Reavers, 2 of them supported by Prince. He is not a dragon, so I'm not gonna call him an Aryan. More Dragon Princes and Elarian Reavers. Wait, there's no caster? Wait, where's the caster? Oh yeah, the caster is here. Lore Masters of OF. Right off the bat, the Vanguard deployed Dryads are already jumping straight for the Shadow Warriors. Malkov's also draining away the health of the Dragon Princes. Not Lost Silver Knights will be charging into the Shadow Warriors, applying that Frostbite, reducing their movement speed, allowing the Dryads to catch up a bit more efficiently, but in comes a Malkov's Mystifying Miasma from the Lore Master of OF. Lore Master having a very versatile toolkit, having some solid spells, but just that he is not on a mount. He cannot go onto a mount, so he has trouble keeping up with enemy units and staying in range to cast spells. So that was quite unfortunate for the unit, but overall the spell kit is still very good. Malkov's draining away the health of the Lost Silver Knights, while Dryads saturates in to support this fight against the enemy cavalry and infantry as well. Wild Hunters of Kurnos charging the spears. But anyways, with the Dryad support, this might not be the worst engagement either. War Dancers are retreating from that flank. There are too many units for them to handle, so there will be more War Dancers like the Azrai Spears reinforcing on that side, as the Dryad seems to be able to handle themselves in melee over here. And with the help of the Wild Riders and Lost Silver Knights did some pretty good damage to the Dragon Princes as well. However, Lost Silver Knights have suffered quite a bit of damage. Over here, War Dancer's Azrai Spear hasn't turned on any of their stances, no Woven Mist, so they're taking full damage from the High Elf Archers, which is not great, but the regular War Dancers should be able to cut through these spears no problem at all with the anti-infantry bonus and solid melee stats. Over here, Wild Hunters of Kurnos, Lost Silver Knights are convening with Wild Riders as well. They are now going after the Dragon Princes, who are a bit stuck on enemy Azrai Spears, allowing the Wild Riders to get a bit of a charge. Also, Azrai Spears are very solid in terms of melee power, so they will be holding for now. Malkov's onto a Dragon Prince once again. They are going after the Dryads, trying to deliver a charge, but the Horn of the Wild Hunt is activated. I don't know if it's anything useful here, but you might as well use the ability, right? At the back there, Elarian Reavers being routed by Lost Silver Knights. Now they're moving on to the next target, the Dragon Princes. Their magic attacks will cut through, especially the armor piercing, will cut through both the armor and physical resistance of the Dragon Princes. They got the charge and they're doing devastating damage. Wild Hunters of Kurnos as well, having anti-lodge and armor piercing. Absolutely annihilating these Dragon Princes in the fight, though the Shadow Warriors should probably start shooting at these whittled down enemy cavalry. That would be very beneficial, but overall they might be locked in terms of line of sight. They're finally switching targets to shoot, but the Wild Hunters of Kurnos are in, and they're now piling onto the Shadow Warriors in melee, silencing them as well from shooting their ranged bows. At the back there, Wild Riders and War Dancers are jumping in, fighting, just sandwiching the Dragon Princes. And the Dragon Princes, usually the one that hammers enemy formation, is actually getting tied down by the Wild Riders hammer and being charged by the War Dancer hammer. Now War Dancers will go after the Shadow Warriors instead. This will be a good time to turn on their Woven Mist, but I guess Rite of Rohan kind of forgot, which doesn't really matter. Over here, Orion being double teamed by a Prince and the Lore Master, but he is smashing both of them in the melee fight with the armor piercing attacks. Damn, he's good. I didn't realize it's that good. He's 1v2 without any issues right now. Anyways, War Dancers finally turn on the Woven Mist, will be able to mitigate a good chunk of those incoming missile damage and keep themselves in the chase for a bit longer. While over here, with the support of the Lost Sylvan Knights, the high elf characters are in a bit of a pickle, having a lot of AP characters surrounding them, and on top of that, the Branch Wraith is joining, delivering even more melee hits, while the high elf spears and mobility struggles to break through the enemy units and get to aid their Liege Lord. Over here, Laren Reavers charging into the Dryads, trying to intercept them, preventing them from going anywhere useful. While the Dragon Princess, unfortunately being hit by a Melkoth, will probably get finished off right then and there. On the far side, Shadow Warriors are still very healthy, but they are a little too far away from any engagements to be anything helpful, while Orion continues his pursuit against Tequila. Delivered another good hit. If he switch over to missile, that would be nice. Just keep throwing missiles onto Tequila. Oh wait, sorry, this is Prince. Why did I think Tequila? Oh, their heads. Keep throwing his missiles onto the Prince. That would just whittle down his HP. Yep, that is a nice shot, doing some pretty decent damage. The rest of the Onslaught Fire is actually quite even, mostly because there are still some healthy archers nearby for the high elves. They still have quite a bit of ammo as well, peppering down war dances, but they have activated Wolf and Mist, keeping their missile resistance active, synergizing with the physical resistance. That's a total of 60% damage reduction against enemy missiles, making them pretty impervious to regular missiles, really. So yeah, Shadow Warriors not having that sheer mass of missiles and damage, they are struggling to kill off the war dances. While Tequila has unfortunately been slain by these two rather lonely Lost Sylvan Knights, who have been chasing him all the way from the other side of the map. Now Shadow Warriors are forced to engage in melee as the war dancers catch up, but they manage to break these elite wood elves. Now they just have to move on to kill the next units, but yeah, with only 3 archers, 1 spear left, I doubt what the high elves can do to turn this battle, especially the archers are very weak at sniping out enemy single entities. I guess Orion does have a bigger target, so it makes it easier for them, but overall it's still rough. And I still forgot to do the ticket thing. God damn it. But yeah, Earthblood continuously healing the weakened units of the Wood Elves. Healing the weakened units of the Wood Elves, yeah. But the Shadow Warriors continues to fire in. Now they're just kind of biding their time, trying to like capture the Wood Elves are biding their time. They know that they have the capture point advantage here and can secure the point and manage to win the game. So High Elves are forced to throw in those Shadow Warriors into melee, which they will definitely suffer at the hands of the stronger, literally a demigod, and then a Branch Wraith as well. So they're taking more and more damage. If there's a Melkoth in the vicinity, that might actually, yeah, if there's another Melkoth, that would be nice. But especially Orion can just self-heal when he is getting low in HP. Oh, the Hounds of the Hunt or something like that, whittling down some of the Shadow Warriors. We might have to go back in. Yeah, we'll just quickly go into we'll just quickly turn off the game, turn it on again to go into the mod. Give me a second to see what happens in the end. Sorry about the flow, because I definitely am kind of missing the mark a bit with today's stream, unfortunately. But yeah, let's just turn on the replay and then turn on the replay mod. Sorry for the black screen, and we are quickly turning on the game again and jumping into the battles again. Okay. It'll be good to go in a few seconds. Alrighty. Now let's just turn on the replays. Wood Elves versus High Elves. Queen Rider of Rohan and the Phoenix King. But yeah, overall, Wood Elves melee can be really scary. And the High Elf infantry are unfortunately unable to match. A princess with shooting or a character with armor penetration would have been a better general choice for High Elves, I think. Armor penetration? No, not necessarily. There's no armor on Orion. Orion goes in butt naked. But yeah, let's fast forward. But yeah, the Malkovs are really nice. Always a very solid spell. But our Dryads managed to drag Illyrian Reavers into melee combat. It was really nice for the Wood Elves, just dragging them down those mobility, reducing the pressure from rear charges, and reducing enemy defenses for their Shadow Warriors on the far side. Yet Illyrian Reavers, yeah, they are just getting hunted down by the Wood Elf mobility, being quite an agile bunch, converging with the rest of the units here and just beating down the lower quality Illyrian Reavers. Even Dragon Princes are gonna suffer here with all the AP from the Lost Silver Knights and Wild Hunters of Kurnus. And Orion just straight up bullying the two characters. I mean, he's not straight up bullying, but he's doing quite significant damage to both, despite being double teamed on. And yeah, War Dancer is constantly pushing without much threat. Tyrion might be nice. But he is also more expensive. Yeah. War Dancer is trading great against spears. Even Illyrian Reavers are just gonna take damage in the process. Yeah. Orion just slapping both off of the... Oh, they're on horses. That makes sense. Oh, wait. The prince is on horse. Yeah, that makes sense. The anti-large bonus of Orion does help. And yeah, just throwing his spears onto Orion, onto the prince, and just kind of eliminate him from combat. And then a couple of Lost Silver Knights will just chase him down. But yeah, very nicely done by Rider of Rohan, really. As the melee rush mix prevents High Elves from having that time and leisure to just keep kiting. And also, Dryads have 60 armor plus physical resistance, makes them less susceptible to missiles. War Dancers, when turned on the Woven Mist, is a 60% damage reduction. Also very nice as well. And yeah, the Shadow Warriors, being rather expensive missiles, are not exactly earning the value they need by shooting at War Dancers and Dryads. They still got good damage, but don't get me wrong, but yeah. They're not counter-skirmishing Wood Elf missiles, which is supposed to be the thing they're supposed to do. The thing that they're really strong at. They don't have those targets to counter, unfortunately. And they're mostly just shooting at units that activated Woven Mist and Dryads. And the Wild Riders plus the Lost Silver Knights, 2 of them remaining, have returned from chasing Alvarato units, getting a bit of an Earthblight heal and Horn of the Wild Hunt, allowing them to just slam into enemy units with additional charge bonus. Not that it matters anymore, as army losses hit for the High Elves, and that means the Wood Elves will be securing victory, getting quite a bit of value with their Lost Silver Knights and whatnot. War Dancers, the regular ones did okay, and the Dryads overall just won in terms of the melee engagement in frontline. Orion did a lot of damage, basically 1v2s, but still winning Prince and winning in the fight against Prince and the Lawmaster. Malkov's Mystifying Miasma did a lot of damage to the Dragon Princes and all that, so there's some pretty good work there as well. And yeah, well, the High Elves there, the Shadow Warriors did some pretty good damage, actually. Earned back all their value, but considering that they shut up most of their they fired most of their ammo, that is still not quite enough for them to earn to win the game. Because if you're fighting against a healing faction, if you use up all your ammo with your missiles, you probably should earn at least 1.5 to 2 times of your value. If you're really relying on those missiles for a winning condition. If not, then other units will win for you. But overall, yeah, the Dragon Princess had a really rough time as well, from the armor piercing anti-large of the Wild Hunters and the armor piercing in general of the Lost Silver Knights. So yeah, that was a pretty nice melee rush from the Wood Elves there. I appreciate it. I always like Wood Elves for their melee rush potential. Now, next battle we have the... We do I have a Strigoi Vampire Lord, actually. Vampire Counts versus Chaos Dwarf Salinator, going for a Vampire Count army, while Chaos Dwarfs over here by Raced, with a couple Chaos Dwarf War Machine. 2 factions that are not very good in the current meta, so let's see who wins here. Now, for the army build for the undead here, the undead going for a line of very vertical zombies, just trying to like prevent them from getting nuked by Infernal Iron Sworn, I suppose, by the explosions. Like, if you just get the Oh wow, already a miscast damage with Gaze of Nagash going straight for the Demon's Tongue, doing substantial damage. Anyways, for the rest of the army build here, we have a bunch of skeleton warriors, a single corpse guard with a necromancer on top, rocking that forbidden rod, trying to get more winds of magic out for the vampire count. 12 of Nagash, that is going to be a prime target for the Deathshrieker rocket launcher on the other side. On the skies, we have some Vargheists providing some armor-piercing mobility, and that also can maneuver over the air, and also they're led by the Strigoi Vampire Lord, providing a Terrorgeist for that armor-piercing anti-large, Opal Amulet for additional damage resistance, Gold King of Ashuran for the self-heal, for healing in general actually. Healing any units? No, just healing himself actually, yeah. Invocation of Nahak, Command of the Unliving, 4 Crypt Gold / Crypt Horror Summon if he dumped enough magic in there. Gaze of Nagash, very good spell now that the Projectile Homecoming is way better. And then in the skies there we have, for the Chaos Dwarf army, we have the Sorcerer Prophet of Fire, plus a Demon Sorcerer of Death, with Spirit Leech, Reforge for the Demonic Machinery, and Flaming Breath on their Bale Aurochs. For the rest of the army here, we have, oh, what is the fire damage actually? Flaming Burning Head and Cascading Fire Cloak as well. Just these 2 spells for the Fire Sorcerer Prophet. For the Chaos Dwarves, a bunch of laborers circling the box of Blazing Beards, and a bunch of Chaos Dwarf warriors, plus 1 single orc labor guarding the Deathshrieker Terrorgeist. Very bizarre build of the Chaos Dwarf, may I say so. And Claw of Nagash is indeed being targeted by the Deathshrieker Terrorgeist. It's trying to go into the woods and trying to get some cover, but that they might start taking damage soon. Anyways, it's actually not trying to hide in the woods, it's trying to juke. With only 48 speed, that's not gonna work here. Anyways, Fireball, oh no, Breath Attack onto the zombies, doing very, very minor damage from the Demon Smith Sorcerer. Now the Vargheists are swarming in with the Strigoi Vampire Lord. I was supposed to say Gold King, but that is we're no longer in game 1. Nobody uses Strigoi Gold King anymore. So yeah, Strigoi Vampire Lord now diving on the Demon's Tongue, trying to do some cheeky charges and run through zombie chaff and whatnot. But yeah, things are not looking great for the Chaos Dwarf already right off the bat, as they are their casters, their characters are taking so much damage, being swarmed by Vargheists, especially this Demon Smith Sorcerer, struggling to even get close to their own friendly formations. There are no missiles to support them otherwise as well, no covering fire to push back the Vargheists, so they're just all taking damage for free from all those enemy Vargheists. Deathshrieker Terrorgeist now aiming at the Strigoi Vampire Lord, doing them really nice damage, since it does, but it does have the missile resistance and fire resistance. Oh right, that's because the Necromancer on the Corpse Guard, it is probably a Balefire. Yeah, Balefire Corpse Guard, you don't really see them often, but it does imbue flaming resistance of 20%, which counteract the fire weakness of the regeneration trait. So that is indeed very nice, making the Strigoi Vampire Lord a little bit less susceptible to those Deathshrieker rockets. And now the Strigoi Vampire Lord will be trying to jump into a melee fight. Oh, the Demon's Tongue is now very low in HP, probably ate a bunch more of Gaze of Nagash. And now the Strigoi Vampire Lord can probably just dive down and finish it, but instead he'll be diving onto the Chaos Dwarf characters with the help of the Vargheists, forming this backline here. Demon's Tongue trying to help, but the Chaos Dwarf characters are indeed quite trapped in this pile of armor-piercing monsters, taking more and more damage in the melee block. The Claw of Nagash also got into melee combat, trying to drive into the wedge itself into the depths of the formation and start draining away the health of nearby units. Really, onto the Strigoi Vampire Lord, slowly draining his health away. And that might... but yeah, he does have... Oh, he's almost hitting heal cap. But he does have a lot of healing potential. Invocation of the hack, his regeneration on of himself and the Terrorgeist, and then Gold King of Ashuran. That's a lot of self-healing potential to keep himself alive. While the Chaos Dwarves don't have that kind of potential, Death Streaker rocket launchers try to fire at the Strigoi Vampire Lord at close range, but unfortunately it misses. This is a bit of a problem with the Death Streaker rocket launchers. It has a questionable accuracy in close range. Now the Strigoi Vampire Lord is jumping in and trying to finish off this Death Streaker rocket launcher. Another Spirit Leech draining a health away of the Strigoi Vampire Lord, but now the Killstop are running out of steam. They're running out of units, really. One of the Sorcerer Profile of Fire has been routed by the nearby Vargeist, being close to enemy melee units, and will be threatened off. Now it is trying to stand their ground and fight back with the Cascading Fire Cloak, but this might be a bit too late here. Demon Sorcerer of Death is running low on HP, though the Strigoi Vampire also taking a lot of damage in the process. Not sure from what, maybe just melee units in general taking more damage, but he does have the healing to sustain himself, almost hitting heal cap. I don't think he even used Invocation of the Hex on himself. But yeah. The Orc Laborers and all these infantry here will just get slowly drained away by Claw of Nagash. Another Gaze of Nagash chipping away the health of the Demon Smith Sorcerer. And yeah, the rest of the Killstorm infantry unfortunately cannot hold up to the terror from the Claw of Nagash, and will be faltering one after the other. They are just regular Killstorm warriors. They are overpriced as hell and doesn't really do the job. Doesn't have any immune psychology or anything. So they're just suffering pretty hard under the terror and the Mortis Engine effect. And that probably shall be GG soon, as more and more Killstorm are going into Mass Exodus alongside their laborers. So the Death Streaker rocket launcher is still trying to fire away. It has done some really good damage over the course of battle, especially weakening the Strigoi Vampire Lord as well. But right now it is dragged into melee combat, unable to really do much. Oh, there's some Karn Raves here. I didn't even spot them, but yeah, it doesn't really matter. They do good armor piercing damage. That's about it. Yeah. Did they even get much damage? Karn Raves, 98 kills, that's not too shabby, but a lot of them I suppose are laborers and whatnot, so nothing too worthy of mentioning. Sorcerer Prophet of Fire diving into the combat, trying to do one last desperate Lord Snipe, but instead they are going to take more damage in this fight, especially with the armor piercing. Karn Raves surrounding them, doing that nice armor piercing damage and chipping away his health. And that shall be GG, with a victory belongs to the Vampire Counts. The Claw of Nagash doing a lot of damage overhand despite joining the battle halfway through. Still, the Mortis Engine, in fact, in such a tight blob formation, and all these expensive Killstorm infantry falling victim to the draining aura. Yeah, that's a lot of damage accumulated over time. Strigoi Vampire Lord, 4k worth of damage value, just beating everything in melee combat, and also Gaze of Nagash sniping out Damon's Tongue, beating back Demon Smith Sorcerer and the Sorcerer Prophet of Fire in melee combat as well. Yeah, basically carrying the game on the backs of the Claw of Nagash and the Strigoi Vampire Lord. Actually, you know what, the Vargeist carried their own weight as well, so that is pretty good for them. The rest of them are just jumpy chops, so not much to say. And for the other side, the Killstorms also did a lot of damage. Unfortunately, cannot outpace that healing from all that Strigoi Vampire Lord regeneration. The Gold King of Oshoran and the regeneration traits are all just adding more and more, just recovering so much HP for, and the Opal Amulet mitigating incoming damage. It's just giving Strigoi Vampire Lord such a tanky status. You're basically needing to kill off him and his HP bar anyway. So yeah, it is a lot of HP to go through, which the Demon Smiths and the Sorcerer Prophet does not really possess that melee power to cut through them. Killstorm infantry, unfortunately, one of them did well, but the others just kind of got drained away by the Mortis Engine, and that's about it. Death Streaker and Demon's Tongue didn't quite earn back their damage value, so that was quite unfortunate for the Killstorm as well. But yeah, I feel like the Killstorm army is just too narrow. And yeah, I don't know, I feel like despite the War Machines being like the feature of the Killstorms, they're just too vulnerable to aerial disruptions. Any aerial units can just dive onto them and they will never fire again. They are too expensive, and that means you have less units to deploy in their protection. They're expensive, so you have less funds to employ something, say like Fireglaves and Blunderbusses to persuade the enemy flyers to back the hell off. So the Var guys can just really go in and just pile onto the box alongside the Gold King, Strigoi Vampire Lord, silencing the missiles and also just beating up the enemy flyers who try to seek refuge in the middle of the Chaos Dwarf box as well. Now for the next battle, Ronin versus Shogunnik. We have the Ronin going for Beastmen with a front line of Angor Spears, 2 of them without shields, the rest all have shields. 3 Sandigals, 3 Chaos Spawns of Beastmen, 2 Giants of Beastmen, 2 Harpies as well, 1 Angor Raider, and a single Malagor Dark Omen leading the army. Very interesting monster heavy army, and of course, Skavens always struggle to deal with these unbreakable but damage dealing Chaos Spawns. So this is going to be a rough match for them. Night Runners with their skirmishing firepower for the... Malagor, what spells does he have? Wait, where's what? Oh, Malagor over here. Okay, blind spot. Malagor going with Flock of Doom and Doom and Darkness. Doom and Darkness is really good spell against Skavens, nuking their leadership reliably, forcing them into an earlier route, and because their leadership is solo anyways, they are always on the verge of routing, so it is basically a guarantee route with Doom and Darkness. Anyways, for the Skaven army build, a bunch of Night Runners supported by Wolf Rats with poison, a few units of Red Ogres, and a bunch of Skaven slaves. And Wolf Rats with poison, Wolf Rats with poison, Night Runners, and leading the army, a Kick Claw with Flensing Ruin and Storm Demon, unlimited power and Brass Orb, so a lot of damaging spells. Anyways, already firing away with Storm Demon already? Damn. Actually doing some good damage to the Chaos Spawn, but not quite to disable it just yet. Flock of Doom from Malagor though, very effectively catching 5-6 units. No, that's 7. No, 6 units of Skavens, draining away the health of the Red Ogres and the Night Runners. Let's see how much damage it's getting already. 300 gold from 1 cast. That's not bad at all. Flock of Doom is like guaranteed damage, so yeah, once it's on, and you can't really escape from it. Brass up onto the Angor Spears, trying to weaken some of those Beastmen infantry support, so the Night Runners can keep focusing down some of these giants and whatnot. But I'm a bit worried about Skavens here because they don't have a lot of missiles to whittle down all these Beastmen monsters. Especially they're now firing stuff into Angor Spears. Night Runners have a very few missiles. They have 10 volleys? Damn, 10 volleys of ammo is just not enough. It's like a few minutes and then you're out of ammo to shoot at stuff. And now they have just so many targets to shoot at, they don't really have anything specific to fight. Like they just need to shoot through everything, but they don't have the ammo to do it. Red Ogres trying to countercharge the Red Ogres, to Angor Spears, sorry. Angor Spears, but not a lot of damage. They have to back up before they start getting smacked by the Chaos Spawns. Over here, Chaos Spawns piling onto this one poor Skaven slaves, and they will be routed, while the rest of the Skavens are trying to pull back and regroup at further back. Over here, Giant terrifies these Skaven slave spears, so they're quickly backing off, allowing the Beastmen to just push through Angor Spears, while the rest of the Skaven mobility are just trying to run away and kite. The problem is that Skavens don't really have a lot of space to kite after this. Kite builds are often countered by melee rush because melee rush will just keep advancing, preventing the kite build from getting that space and time to dish out damage. Just like here, Skaven skirmishers are trying to pull back, but the Beastmen are just constantly driving forward, closing in the distance, and with all the Sandigals as well, jumping into melee combat, just catching those wolf rats, preventing them from running around to threaten the Beastmen army. However, some of these Sandigals took a little bit too much damage and will have to retreat, but there are still one very healthy unit of Sandigal on the other side, alongside with a bunch of Chaos Spawns ready to just jump in and pile onto the Red Ogres. The Skavens are in a bit of a pickle. Balance power is in favor of Skavens. That's probably because the Night Runners still have plenty of ammo left. No, not plenty of ammo. These guys only have half ammo, which is like 4 shots. 5 shots. These guys are almost out of ammo, so things are looking quite grim in terms of the ammo situation with Skavens. They do have a bit of balance of power since their Red Ogres and Ikit himself are so healthy, but there are also the double giant that they have to consider, and a bunch of Senegals, Kill Spawns chasing after the Night Runners. More Senegals coming in for a cycle charge, trying to do as much impact damage as possible and break off more Skaven units. Another Cleansing Ruin. This will be nice. Hitting multiple units over here, Senegals, Kill Spawns. Giant himself. The Giant is getting quite low, but there's still a very healthy one nearby, which will be able to do some good damage over time. And because the Giants have so much HP, over 10k, now 12k actually, Cleansing Rune are actually less effective on them because they're only doing a small fraction of HP damage to the Giant. And it is less percentage of health killed on the Giant than on a regular, say, Beastman character, like Malagor. So the Giants are still quite fighty right now. They still have enough fighting prowess left, while the Skavens are out of missiles. The Night Runners over here are now down to 2 and 3 volleys respectively, while the Red Ogres, Wolf Rats are constantly being chased and pressured by the Beastman mobility, being routed here and there. And yeah, the Skavens are still ahead in balance of power, but I don't know how these Night Runners can finish off the Giants and the Chaos Spawn, really. And these isolated elements of the Skaven army is being picked off by the Beastman mobility, a little bit of Brass Orb nuking these Ungor Spears, but also nuking their own Skaven slaves, so nothing too amazing here. It's a bit of a trade-off between both sides. But yeah, the rats are running while the Chaos Spawns are pursuing. And I would need to do a bit of fast forward here, as both armies are a little bit scattered over the battlefield. They would need to go somewhere to regroup, for example, to the capture point. Beastmen should be able to control it with more infantry support and some very strong single entity support. The Skavens were blobbing up a bit, trying to just finish off the Chaos Spawn, but that gave Malagor a prime target for the Flock of Doom, getting over 1200 gold worth of damage value now. Some very solid stuff indeed. And on top of that, the Night Runners are out of ammo. They will have to kill those Giants in melee, which is going to be easier said than done. Over here, Skaven mobility chasing off some isolated bits of the Beastman army, while the Beastmen also doing the same thing with Malagor, having superior speed being in the skies. Anyways, Wolf Rats are piling in and trying to rout off the Ungor Spears and Ungor Raiders successfully on the Ungor Spears, but with the Giants coming in, the Wolf Rats are probably soon gonna be routed as well. Over here, the Packmaster is jumping in with a bit of terror from his brute horror, routing off the Ungor Spears with that terror, and but also the blobbed up Skavens means that it is a great opportunity for the Flock of Doom to do damage. Ikit Claw trying to drive in and do some rear charges and finish off one of the Giant, but unfortunately he got smacked by the Giant's massive club in the face. Now the Packmaster will jump in and try to nibble at one of the Giant's toe and finish it off, but it is taking some damage. Red Ogre is piling in as well, surrounding the 2 Giants. Cleansing Rune is doing some pretty good damage overall. Actually, they're doing a pretty nice job finishing one of the Giants then. There's still some pretty solid mobility left on the Beastman side. Rear charging into one of the Red Ogres, routing them off, and the Wolf Rats nearby. Packmaster is just getting absolutely clobbered by the double Giants. Giants do have 66 attack on these guys, so easy enough to overcome the meager 30 defense on the Packmaster. And with the 700, no, not 700, okay, yeah, 700 base weapon strength, they're debuffed by being tired and whatnot. Actually debuffed by the wound status, but either ways, they still have more than enough weapon strength to keep clubbing those Skaven single entities. A Kick Claw, only 36 melee defense against the 66 melee attack of the Giant. Yeah, he can't really stand against them for now, and will be taking more and more damage from the Giant club. Balance of power is dropping as more and more Skavens rout. Cleansing Rune finish off one of the Giants, but the other is still healthy, as the Skaven player only caught one of the Giants. The other one got dragged out. Ronin dragged the Giant out of the area of effect of the Cleansing Ruin and was able to keep it nice and healthy. Senegal is trying to chase off the Packmaster, but just as soon as they gave up the chase, Packmaster rallied. Probably should have just keep chasing the Packmaster, but I assume it's because Ikit Claw is over chasing a bit. And also there are not a lot of units to support it. If the Sanagos can just surround Ikit and then Malagor dive in with an attack and rout off Ikit, that might just break the Skaven's back. Malagor is going in for sure. Didn't really land a hit on Ikit Claw, but he would just keep trying while the Giants are lumbering in. Malagor is dropping in terms of leadership. Oh no, Malagor is taking more and more damage from the Packmaster. And the Wolf Rat's also pinning him in, preventing him from getting out of there. But Harpies are in. Harpies are nearby. If they can just dive in and just push off the Scurvy, the Wolf Rats, that would be nice. But alas, with the Giant so close nearby, the Wolf Rats and the Skavens will have to give up on chasing Malagor. And that allows Malagor to come back with almost half health. All the rest of the Skavens are trying to pick off enemy units while dropping in Flensing Ruin as well, draining away the health of the remaining Giant. But every time the Packmaster goes in for a fight, he just got slapped by the damn Giant. That Giant Club is no joke at all. But yeah, every time he goes in, he just gets slapped by a Giant. Now he's heal cap, no more healing for the Skavens. They're now trying to wait till that 700 victory ticket, but it is very unlikely as there is nothing to stop Giant from clobbering the Wolf Rat and Ikit himself. Army losses hit, and that shall be. Giants have better morale than Fireborn. Okay, I did not know that, but either ways, the Giants managed to secure victory for the Beastmen, as Skavens have nothing to really counter them. Very unfortunate there. But yeah, against Beastmen it's quite hard. If you want to block a Skaven, you're not gonna succeed with the Beastmen running through your backline with Sandagos and RPs and spawns. But if you don't box and just go for full kite with Night Runners, Gutter Runners and stuff, you might stand a chance against a normal Beastman build, but then they can pull stuff like Double Giant and a bunch of Chaos Spawns and just run over you as well. So yeah, it is a pretty rough match to fight against Beastmen, really. They just have so many versatile tools with so many new toys that they received from multiple DLCs and patches, so they are just basically one of the top tier factions now. And one of the Tentacles did a lot of damage value. The Chaos Bombs mostly there to just break through enemy frontline, allowing the Giant and the rest of the Angors, the Tentacles to disrupt. They just keep pushing enemy from beyond the front line. Skaven's why, of course, a Kick Claw carrying the game with Cleansing Ruin, but one of the Packmasters didn't do much damage. One of them did some okay work, but overall still isn't quite worth it. But yeah, Wolf Rat's did okay. These guys got 250 kills. Must have chased off a lot of routed units, but still, these Night Runners simply do not have enough missiles to whittle down the Chaos Spawns and Giants. Still, the Skavens put up a great fight with sheer numbers. The Red Ogres and the Packmasters dishing out those anti-large and just overall attrition damage. Managed to worn down the Giants to a dangerous level, but even then, the Giants' terror is just too much for single entities to handle, especially with the 700 weapon strength. Every hit hits hard. Yeah. That will be GG for Shogunnik, and Ronin advanced to the next round from that game. But yeah, that should be the last battle for the day. Wood Elves from Ronin versus Scarbrand with Khorne. Khorne going with a Scarbrand. Scarbrand finally going with Scarbrand now. But yeah, Wood Elves going for a very strong melee build with a few missile components. Oh wow, Khorne going for a lot of Minotaurs. 6 cows in general, but let's see how they do. Army builds wise, Khorne going for a simple army. 3 Minotaurs of regular with shields and 3 Minotaurs with great. Oh, these are regular Minotaurs with weapons. 3 Minotaurs and regular ones, and 3 Minotaurs with great weapons. A front line of 3 Marauders of Khorne. Scarbrand leading the army with some Furies in the skies to disrupt enemy missiles, while on the other side for the Wood Elves, a front line of Dryads with some 3 units of Swift Shiver Shots for skirmishing, Zotes For the anti-large armor piercing, same goes for Wild Hunters of Kurnos, going for a similar build from what we've seen last time, but also some very, very elite infantry in the form of Loex Trickster Regiment of Renowned War Dancers with Azrai Spears for their anti-large, and also they have the Loex Shroud for the Unspottable, but I don't think that matters too much, mostly just there for flavor. Oh, they're Frenzy. Okay, that adds a little bit more damage power to them. And yeah, mostly for flavor and the anti-large armor piercing, I think. And then there's the anti-infantry elite, the Blade Singers, which Khorne doesn't really have a good answer to, because they're just so good in melee. They just slice and dice through any of the Khorne infantry, and the monsters also will have a rough time. Leading the army is a regular treeman, providing some healing with Earthblood, Shield of Thorns for damage reflection, and damage reflection. I never seen people use Shield of Thorns, but interesting spell choice either ways. And yeah, the blessing of the Ancient Protector to strip enemy magic attacks away from them. Anyways, Swift Shiver Shards are whittling down some of these border infantry and also nuking the Chaos Furies with their sheer amount of missiles that bloated out the skies. Even Scarbrand is gonna take noticeable damage in the fight, but he's trying to get close and just charge these Deepwood Scouts, but this would be a good chance for the Loex Tricksters to come up and start beating him. Oh, a very nice play. Getting Scarbrand close enough to activate Rage Embodied, rampage the Deepwood Scouts into melee, forcing them in a fight that they do not want to be in. And then the Minotaurs will be dragging them into melee fight as well. Now, Great Weapon Minotaurs are going toe-to-toe against Zotes, but the Zotes have the support of Flesh to Stone as their bounce spells. The Minotaurs have nothing to support them, and they're just taking a chunk of damage while Zotes are healing themselves as well. Scarbrand are dumpstering the nearby Deepwood Scouts, but Loex Tricksters are just having the time of their life. You don't really get to fight as Loex Trickster much in the current meta, but right now with Scarbrand the Exiled, the player bringing in so many Minotaurs and Scarbrand himself, the Loex Trickster with the Loex Shadow doesn't really do much, but yeah, they are just slaughtering any monsters they come into contact with. Minotaurs over here are charging in, trying to get into the backline, but with Zotes and Wild Hunters of Kurnos on their ass, they're not surviving this onslaught. More Minotaurs, this time with great weapons, trying to keep pushing, pressuring the Deepwood Scouts, but that will expose them to a rear charge from the Wild Hunters of Kurnos, and they will just be taking substantial damage in the mix. Marauders are struggling to push against the Dryads and the Loex Tricksters and whatnot. And the Minotaurs are fighting truly alone. This time they are surrounded by Loex Trickster and Zotes. Look at how quick their HP drops, leaving Scarbrand alone in the middle of a ton of anti-large armor piercing. Yes, the things are not looking great for the rest of the Minotaurs as well. They are still pushing, pressuring Deepwood Scouts, but Wild Hunters of Kurnos routed off one of the Minotaurs, now going off for the next one. Scarbrand challenging the Ancient Treeman to a duel, but with the bunch of Zotes just smacking his kneecaps with a giant hammer, Scarbrand is not enjoying it at all. Over here, Minotaurs of Khorne being rear charged by the Wild Hunters of Kurnos will be chased off as well. Yeah, that shall be a victory to Ronin, I think. Yeah, Ronin, yeah. That shall be a victory to Ronin, as the anti-large power of what else just simply is too much for Khorne to deal with. There are too many monsters on this field. I feel like, yeah, Khorne just went for too much of a tall army. At least I was able to challenge a mobility game with full mobility of my own. Yeah, that is a lot of mobility. That is a... Oh wait, no. Oh yeah, that was the Skaven battle with Shohanek going for Skaven, yeah. Yeah, you still managed to put up a really good fight with the Skaven mobility, wearing down the Sandagors and whatnot. But yeah, I think the Flock of Dooms are just too much for the Skavens, I feel like. Anyways, for the Widow versus Khorne battle, they're unfortunately just too tall of an army, allowing the Wild Hunters of Kurnos and Zotes just plus the focus fire from the Swift Shiver Shards to just pick off the Minotaurs one after the other. But yeah, that is it for today's game. I hope you enjoy... Oh, actually, I'm just gonna have a quick speed run of the Beastman versus Skaven battle. I feel like I didn't really I wasn't too focused on the mobility game between the two factions, so yeah, I was mostly paying attention to the spawns and the giant. So let's just have a quick look at how the Senegal is being worn down by the Night Runners. Because Shogunate definitely pulled the game to a very close degree in the end. It was still like literally anyone's game with how close it was, but I just generally thought yeah, it was definitely closer than I make it sound like, because both armies are extremely tattered in the end. It's just that Beastmen had a slight advantage having giants at their disposal. Shogunate definitely having a good job with wearing down on those Angolas. This is a very nice cycle chart, but unfortunately some of Red Ogres being caught in the fray and led to the rest of the Red Ogres being dragged into the fight here. Now the mobility piled in, Chaos Spawns and Giant try to keep pressure the Night Runners, but they keep pulling back and just keep shooting at whatever they can get their hands on, whittling down the Beastmen army. And then we have the Senegals here being worn down by the sheer amount of Night Runner missiles, and even the Mech Master must have gotten quite a few kills. Yes, given the Night Runners are indeed quite fast at 49 speed, and then the Chaos Spawn at only 42. Oh, okay, yeah, they're only catching up because of the charge animation. Otherwise, they're not. They actually don't have any hope to catch up. Okay, I didn't realize the Chaos Spawns are so slow. That was my mistake. But yeah, Senegals are being overwhelmed by Wolf Rats, which Shogunate is definitely doing a very good job microing and keeping his army together, actually. But because he also kept his army together, that also means that it's quite vulnerable to Flock of Dooms, which unfortunately Ronin was able to capitalize on. And then yeah, Senegals piling in, but yeah, the Skaven Slaves and the sheer amount of just Red Ogres and whatnot was able to just it was able to drag down the enemy units. Yeah, I was wondering whether actually Cleansing Ruin on Malaga would have been better, but maybe not actually, now that I think about it. Because like these Cleansing Ruins are also well placed at blobbing only on blobs of multiple important enemy units. And yeah, the Skaven mobility retreated all the way to the other side of the map, ran out of ammo, but things are still in Skaven favor in terms of balance of power. I just thought the Beastmen have more of an advantage here, but yeah. But yeah, things are still very close overall. Like, if the Flock of Dooms and the Giant in the end definitely gave the Beastmen an edge in the end, but yeah. All the mobility has been whittled down by a very efficient micro of with the Red Ogres and Wolf Rats actually. Shogunate has been constantly retreating as well, kiting back the enemy mobility, forcing them to just try to charge in and drag enemy into melee fights, but because they charge in, they over advance. They went way ahead of themselves, ahead of the Chaos Spawns, and they couldn't follow up and allow the Wolf Rats and Harpies to rout them off in the end. But yeah, GG to both players, GG to all the players in this tournament stream. Unfortunately, I don't think I put up my A game in terms of casting. A little bit apologies for that, but yeah, anyways, I hope you all enjoy this Friday night fight tournament. I will seriously have to go off for the next week, for the following week, and won't be able to do any more streaming or casting or anything. Meanwhile, I believe there will still be more events coming in from the rest of the content creators like Demon Boy and Tequila Sunset. So do go and check out their events and join those if you want to get some more multiplayer games. But for now, that is it for Friday Night Fights today. And I'll see you in the next one. Tactical Lich signing out.